Hello, everyone. What's happening? Got some crazy lighting going on here. So what's going on, guys? Today we are doing, what is it, part 2 of the Blu-ray collection, non-horror Blu-ray collection, so all the other genres, which I do have labeled by these very sophisticated and high-tech construction paper here with a Sharpie marker on it. War, Western, these are some of the genres we're looking at today. So, without further ado, I realize that most of the people that watch these watch them when they're archived. Hello to anybody who's in the room right now. It looks like we've got one person. What's up, Jolly Good Show? Thank you for tuning in. You know I appreciate it. Today we're doing part 2 of my Blu-ray collection, an overview here, where I'm going to talk about a lot of the movies in my Blu-ray collection. I'm not sure how far we're going to get, but my goal, at least, is war, Western, and then down here we've got the crime thriller, which I've been thinking about splitting up into separate subgenres in and of itself. So you have the crime thriller, you have the, psychological thriller, you have the political thriller. I really do want a political thriller section because I love those types of films, and if I can have an area where I could just go to grab one of those, that would be ideal. So something like, I don't know, what's a good political thriller? I can't even tell. I'm sure we'll come across one. All right, so we've got 5 people in here. We're going to get this show on the road. Enough of my ugly face. We're going to do the swap-a-roo. And I'm going to try to keep my phone plugged in. Well, I guess I'm not going to be able to do that. Oh, well. All right, we've got 80% battery. Let's get this show on the road. All right, so we've covered all of that. What's up, Hello. How are you doing, sir? Or ma'am? Let's see. We've got the war section here. We're going to start looking at the war section. We've already been through action, disaster, all the action stars, video game movies, Hong Kong stuff, Japanese, South Korean, even Thai. And I believe the last thing we covered was comic book movies. So, here we go with the war. All right, so first up, we've got up here Kill the Messenger. This one's actually thrown on the top here. I want to line up my favorite genres today, but I do love crime and westerns. There you go. Yeah, no, I figure these are all going to be, different for different people. We all have the genres we love. I'm a big crime fan. Well, not in real life. Well, in real life, I suppose. I like reading about crime. I don't like doing crime. Kill the Messenger. This is actually one I haven't seen, so I can't speak much on it. This is Emperor, starring Tommy Lee Jones as MacArthur, Douglas MacArthur, who was the leader of Japan after we bombed them to oblivion. Struggle with war films. Interesting. I'd like to know why. I like to I read a lot of history and war and military history, so I'm curious as to why. I mean, it definitely affects you negatively so long as you allow it to. But I try to prepare myself for the worst things humanity has to offer. And you read history for that, I think. So, starting, we've got a triple feature here. 300, Troy Director's Cut, and Alexander Revisited, the final cut. The final cut of Alexander is like 5 hours long. I've not gotten through it yet. I would like to. I love historical epics, and I'd like to watch it. My favorite on this set, though, as of right now, is 300. I think 300 holds up remarkably well. All right, I'm going to take these down. I'm a big fan of 20th century Irish history and the Irish Revolution, the dawn of the IRA, the struggles, or the troubles, I should say, during the 60s, 70s, 80s. It was a very fraught time for the Irish. It was a very split and divided country, split down, religious lines, political lines. What's up, Lucy? Thanks for stopping back in. I appreciate it. Guys, I'm going to do a call to action. We've got 6 people in here. Let's see that thumbs up number go up just a tad. Just 1, just 2, just 3. That would be awesome. And like I said, it always helps me with exposure. You guys want to see a really tense movie that's true to the time, great performances, great writing, such a good film. Undercover, this guy plays an undercover, Sturgis plays an undercover agent. It's just really, really good political thriller. That one would go in my political thrillers right at the beginning. Here we have a little beat up, but still a really nice copy. You know me, I found this for $1 or something at a thrift shop. Actually, this one I got at a pawn shop a couple years ago. So yeah, so really nice little version of All Quiet on the Western Front. This is the 30s version, if I'm not mistaken, which I've yet to see. Das Boot. And no, this is not Beer Fest. This is Das Boot by Wolfgang Petersen. This is a director's cut. This is the version that I would like to watch. There's also a miniseries that came out before this that I do own. I would like to see that first. I hear this is one of the greatest war films of all time. Here we have a war slash kind of, war western. It's more of a war film, but The Dirty Dozen. Iconic, great movie. Look at that cast. Lee Marvin, my favorite from the 60s and 70s. Ernest Borgnine, I love Ernest Borgnine. Charles Bronson, Jim Brown, John Cassavetes, Richard Jekyll, George Kennedy, Trini Lopez, Ralph Meeker, Robert Ryan. The most masculine cast of all time. Dirty Dozen, classic movie. All right, we got those out of the way, so let's pull them out. Pull them out, not it. You know what I mean? All right, nobody wants to see that. We've got Jarhead, The Kingdom, Green Zone, all solid Afghanistan War, Iraq War, that era, post 9/11 war films, which have their own flavor, that's for sure. Mostly anti-war, which is a good sign. Because, in the 40s, we had a lot of pro-war, jingoistic, kind of propagandistic kind of stuff. You could pretty much tell when the movie was made in conjunction with the U.S. government, which is another interest of mine. I'd love to do a video on that someday. Go ahead and Google the Military Entertainment Complex. There's even a wiki for it. 12 Strong, Chris Hemsworth. Never seen that one. 13 Hours. You want to see a great Michael Bay, a more serious Michael Bay film here. This is a modern war film that takes place during the raid on Benghazi here. And so this was a very specific military expedition, we'll say. And very good film. Very philosophical at points, actually. It drops some Joseph Campbell on people, which is nice. Hopefully get the animated collection today, if not another video. Yeah, I'm going to try to get to it. We will see. Short answer is I don't enjoy war films, but no, it's mostly constant gun sounds and explosions. Yeah, with washed out brown, green. Yeah, I hear you. It does numb you. Reading about it numbs you in a very strange way too. But in my opinion, it helps keep me sharp and keep me aware on what to look out for, because history does rhyme. I do love Apocalypse Now and Bullet in the Head. Oh yeah, Bullet in the Head. Fuck yeah, I still need that on Blu-ray. Oh my god, that's like one of the last Hong Kong films I absolutely need. Oh, by the way, a recent pickup here. I sold off my DVD, got Magnificent Warriors from 88 Films. It's a Region B, but you know me, I have a region-free player. And then, which other one? There was another... Didn't I get another one? Sorry, guys. I showed you... Oh, yeah. Righting Wrongs. There it is. Same thing. Sold off my DVD to get this. Yin Byo and Cynthia Rothrock. This is a killer action flick. Actually, both are killer action flicks. Magnificent Warriors is not Royal Warriors. This one is like an Indiana Jones style Michelle Yeoh film. And yes, it's that fun. She has this really neat wire rope weapon that she throws at dudes. It's crazy. And it's so well done. Old school Shaw Brothers stuff there. What's up, Perry fan? Thanks for stopping in. Magnificent Warriors, you love that one too. Love to talk Hong Kong action with you sometimes. Absolutely. When I have some time, we could definitely do that. All right, we're going to continue on. 300 Spartans. This is the classic version of 300, which I've not seen, from 1962. 1917, a film that I think is pretty cool in a novel way. But wasn't too impressed with it in terms of its storytelling and its character work. There's not much going on there, at least the first time I watched it. This one's interesting because it's made on... This is probably pure propaganda, but hey, sometimes it could be entertaining if you understand what you're watching. This is a motion picture made and in conjunction with Navy SEALs, active duty Navy SEALs. So, yeah, hoorah! Or no, is that Marines? Sorry. Age of Heroes. This is a Sean Bean action flick. This one, I believe, let's see when this takes place. 42. So the Commandos, the British commandos during the war. Agora, I've not seen this one. This is like a German version, it looks like. Die Welt für immer währendern. I butchered that. Die Saulen des Himmels. But it does have the English track and all that. This is a Robert Zemeckis, Brad Pitt, Marion Cotillard film that I haven't seen. World War II. American Sniper, a film that I think is okay. I wasn't too impressed with this. It is a complex film. It definitely isn't propaganda. There's a lot to say about the what violence does to an individual. I believe we're violent creatures, but doing violence always affects us psychosomatically, or not psychoactively, psychosomatically. Most of us, that is. And this is about violence numbing this character here, who was based on a real person. Apocalypse Now, the final cut. This is like a crazy 4-disc or more 6-disc Apocalypse Now 4K. I really think this is a nice set. I think I might be missing the slipcover here. That's okay. Every cut of Apocalypse Now you could ever want. The Attack. Don't know much about this, but it looks like a political thriller of some kind. Oh, well, there you go. An Israeli-Palestinian insurgent. This speaks to current events, even, because this shit's been going on forever. So there you go. Attack on Leningrad. Haven't seen that. I think this is I thought it was a Russian film. No. Oh, yeah. It's Russian and American, it seems. The Bang Bang Club. I haven't seen this. Don't know much about it. Steven Silver film. Yeah, not sure. Battle of Britain. Classic Michael Caine movie. Crazy British cast here. Yeah, look at that. Trevor Howard, Michael Caine, Christopher Plummer, Robert Shaw. This is about the battle over Britain. So there you go. During the Blitzkrieg. German Luftwaffe. Beginning of World War II. Which saved England. Yada, yada, yada. We've got Battle of the Bulge, Henry Fonda, Robert Shaw. Still haven't seen this one. Battleship Potemkin, an incredible, for its time, Sergei Eisenstein film. Eisenstein pioneered a lot of editing techniques, and if you watch this, you will see a lot of those early editing techniques of crossfades. He was known for the crossfade. He really helped popularize that. 1925, so yes, this is a silent film that takes place during one of the many revolutions in Russia from 1900 to 1918, 1917, 1918. And yeah, this is one of the first of those uprisings which took place around the time of the Japanese-Russo War there. So, Russo-Japanese War. What do we got? I love to talk Hong Kong. Killian Giles, thank you for stopping in. You probably won't see my comment, but I just want to say thank you so much, Killian. I am honored that you watch my stuff and you enjoy my stuff. That's what this is all about. I thank you so much for stopping in. I hope I can entertain. I meant to ask you the last stream, are you a fan of Ernest Borgnine? Absolutely. I still have to see Marty. I admit that. Kind of a legend within Western war films of the 50s, 80s. Absolutely. Borgnine is fantastic. He always lights up the screen, in my opinion. I love him from Poseidon Adventure, even. Yes, very glad to have Battleship Potemkin on Blu-ray by Kino. How many movies do I have all together? Jeez. Well, I have probably 8, 16, 24, probably about 3,000 Blu-rays plus probably 4,000 or 5,000 DVDs, maybe. So a lot. And I got rid of about 1,000 DVDs pretty recently. I had a lot of garbage. I did a major purge. The Beast. This is a fantastic war movie, guys, with a killer slipcover. Fantastic war movie by Kevin Reynolds, who would go on to work with Mel Gibson, or Kevin Costner, with what do you call Waterworld, right? And this film came out in '88. This is Kevin Reynolds' best movie. Really great action-oriented movie that follows kind of like Fury, where it follows the command of this tank, the command force for this tank during the Afghan War, the Soviet-Afghan War, where the Soviets invaded Afghanistan and tried to Sovietize it, and it didn't go very well, and then the U.S. starts funding the Mujahideen, who are the rebel force that are fighting back, and it gets into all that stuff, but this came out towards the end of the Afghan War, the Soviet-Afghan War, but an excellent film. These movies are enhanced when you know the history, that's for sure. Or watch the movie and then get interested in the real history, because usually the real history is more interesting. Behind Enemy Lines, I haven't seen. Can't speak on it, but I would like to. I always pull it out, and then I start it, and I'm not in the mood. I don't know. The Big Parade, I got this at a Dollar General at some point for like $3 or $4. This was an incredible find. This is a silent war picture, silent war film here that takes place during the First World War, I would imagine. Looks like it, at least. Big Parade, still sealed. Nice digibook. Billy Lynn's Long Halftime Walk. I've heard good things about this film. This is an Ang Lee film. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Same director. Ridley Scott directed Black Hawk Down based on a real event. Gets the details pretty close to the real event, which was insane. Takes place in Mogadishu, where the U.S. was intervening during a time of political chaos in Mogadishu. And, northeastern Africa, if I'm not mistaken. And, yeah, incredible cast, very visceral violence. It's one of the first war films that made me really feel some of the violence, like when the guy's bleeding out because he got shot in an artery in his leg, and they're trying to clamp it, and it's a brutal movie, very realistic, and a great, tense thriller. Born on the 4th of July. It's not the song. But Tom Cruise stars in this Oliver Stone film, very anti-war. I always love Oliver Stone's stance on war. It's, for a filmmaker, he does a really good job with his anti-war movies. And this one I actually haven't seen. I've seen a lot of his other work, most of Oliver Stone's other work. But I would like to sit down and consume this Tom Cruise movie and add it to the ever-growing list of incredible Tom Cruise movies. Boudica, Rise of the Warrior Queen. This is, I know about the history, but I don't know much about this movie, but I picked it up because I knew about the history. This was like a Pictish or English Gallic kind of tribe who fought back the Romans, and yeah, very, very cool history. Braveheart, freedom! I don't know, this movie really hits me in my core. I don't know what... everybody knows Braveheart. Anybody, born in America, I would imagine, has some sort of connection to the propagandistic message of this film, of course, where freedom outweighs everything. And I really love this movie. Mel Gibson stars as William Wallace, based on real history, but not really close to the real history, I will say. But it's a movie. It's mythology. Bridge on the River Kwai. Haven't seen this. Really nice digibook. Bridge Too Far. Haven't seen that. I haven't seen the Bridge movies. I have seen this Bridge movie, though. Spielberg, Cold War, political thriller. I love this movie. This movie's fantastic, especially if you're into Cold War history, which I am. Spielberg kills it on that. Kane Mutiny. Haven't seen it. Giant Shadow. Haven't seen it. Centurion. Pretty good movie from what I remember. Neil Marshall. He makes entertaining, brutal movies, so that's a really good one. Always like seeing Michael Fassbender in a lead role. Another Sean Bean war flick here. I don't really know much about this, but was Secret Service agent. It's more of a... Yeah, see, Bridge of Spies, if I had a political thriller section, that's where that would go. So it's not quite a war film. It's a Cold War film, which isn't a hot war film. So Cold Mountain, romanticized, sort of Civil War movie I haven't seen since it came out. Courage Under Fire, really good Rashomon style war flick here, kind of mystery thriller, starring Denzel, who's trying to get to the bottom of something that happened during the Gulf War, and actually something that happened to him, and he's tied up in it, and you get the story from 3 different perspectives, and the truth kind of lies in the midst of all of those. It's Rashomon, basically, an American version. Crimson Tide, a great Tony Scott mystery kind of thriller, war thriller, I'll say, with Denzel and Gene Hackman facing off. It's good stuff. Danger Close. This is one of those like war documentaries of real combat and stuff like that, which is a totally different experience than watching a war film. Deer Hunter. This is known for the famous Russian roulette scene and a great performance by Christopher Walken, as well as John Cazale, as well as Robert De Niro. This is a film I haven't seen since I was a teenager. It's very long, very slow. Meryl Streep, I always forget she's in this. John Savage. I remember loving it. I just haven't seen it in a long time. Michael Cimino film. Defiance, a great World War II thriller here. A true story about guys who are trying to smuggle, I believe, some Jews out of harm's way. I don't remember all the details, but Ridley Scott's The Duelists. This is a very hard Blu-ray to find. I've had multiple people offer me money for this, but it is not going anywhere. It's staying in the collection. I haven't seen this. This is the first Ridley Scott film and one of the only of his films I haven't seen. I have to run out for a second. In a moment, I have somebody meeting me. We've got Dunkirk, a movie that I think is pretty good, but not one of my favorite Christopher Nolan flicks. If you want to check in with everybody, I'll double-check the comments here. Do you have any horror movies and you don't collect? Or I do, certainly. Of my other channel, and man, I miss that era of YouTube. So much innocent and less commercial. It really was, yeah. So the horror collection, Killian, is right over there, and that's going to be for another day. We got MacArthur and MASH, 2 war films I actually haven't seen. Hostiles and Patton, another 2 I haven't seen. I will say, War, I'm very interested in the films, but I am not always in the mood for them because, like said, they're very drab and very depressing most of the time, and you need something lined up that's very vibrant and vivacious and happy when you watch a war flick. The Eagle Has Landed, Hell in the Pacific. This is a really cool one here that definitely is right up my alley. Lee Marvin and Toshiro Mifune, 2 of the greatest, hyper-masculine actors of their respective countries at the time, and they face off in this movie. It's supposed to be pretty good. It's a John Borman film. I can imagine what this film is trying to say. So I organize my movies by genre and subgenre. So right now we're looking at the war stuff. And next up is Western. We've got Empire of the Sun. I do want to talk about this briefly. Spielberg, very forgotten, underappreciated Spielberg film here about it's about World War II, but it's about the Japanese internment camp and how they were imprisoning Brits. And this shows you a side of the war that not many people talk about. This is a very interesting film. Look at that. I think that's a young Ben Stiller there. Seen through the eyes of a young Christian Bale, who does a fantastic job in this movie. John Malkovich, really great movie, and it has a great score. That's a little bit of John Williams goodness there that I butchered. Of course I've seen Kung Pao. I love Kung Pao. That movie still doesn't have a Blu-ray. Eye in the Sky, really tense modern war thriller here that focuses on drone warfare and its moral implications. It's really good. Handled very well. A Few Good Men. I'm not the biggest fan of this film. I understand why people are. It's a courtroom drama with a war kind of facade, and Rob Reiner directs this, rather generic sort of little, courtroom drama with Tom Cruise and Jack Nicholson. Great cast, but just not the most interesting film to me. The First King. This is like the story of the possibly mythological beginnings of Rome, Romulus and Remus. I'm looking forward to that. Flyboys. I haven't seen that in forever. Fury, another great tank movie that follows this little squad who has this little tank that could. Some of the best tank battles you will ever see in any film. Very authentic. I've read about some tank battles, and this seems to, the writers seem to have read a few of those books as well. And great character work. Really, it's kind of like a sports movie because these guys really bond over what they're doing and the moral implications of it. It's great. The best David Ayer film directed to date, in my opinion. Gettysburg and Gods and Generals, 2 films that are like 4.5 hours long. I haven't seen them, admittedly. They're supposed to be very good, romanticized versions of the Civil War. Good Morning, Vietnam. This one is a very good one that I haven't seen in many years, but I remember it leaving a bit of an impression. Very funny, has a lot to say about the war, and directed by Barry Levinson, who is a good director. Guns of Navarone. Guns of Navarone, tearing up your battle zone. There's some Method Man for my hip-hop heads. Gregory Peck, any rapper that drops Guns of Navarone, I'm a fan of. Gregory Peck, David Niven, Anthony Quinn. You guys want to see a super fun early 60s war action film that feels about 15 years ahead of its time? Check out Guns of Navarone. Force 10 from Navarone, not quite as good. but it does have a good cast with Robert Shaw and a very young Harrison Ford. This is in the late 70s, 78. Yep, so worth watching, but not quite as good as Guns and Navarone. The cast just comes together so well in that. Another very good Mel Gibson one here. Mel Gibson directed film here. The first half is character work, very melodramatic, but the second half is incredibly intense, visceral war action. This was about a conscientious objector named, I forget his name, but he was, what was he? A Quaker, I believe. And he was against the war, so he objected, and he still got into the war and was able to save a whole bunch of people, all while being unarmed, which is pretty, a little bit of both. We've got Hurt Locker, which is a great Catherine Bigelow thriller, war thriller here. I like this better than her Zero Dark 30, which I do view as a bit leans on the propagandistic side. I think it's a good movie, very technically well done, but Hurt Locker is just a better film overall. Ivanhoe, I've not seen. Jarhead 3, I'm missing Jarhead 2. Why do I have Jarhead 3? Because of Scott Adkins, who I'm not even sure how big of a role he has. K-19, this is a submarine film I haven't seen with a really good cast playing Russians, so I doubt they do Russian accents. We've got Kingdom of Heaven, a director's cut Ridley Scott film during the Crusades. It's an okay film. It's not great. You know, after Gladiator, we were expecting a historical epic of that caliber, and we got something that was significantly lower in quality, but still solid. Very good and memorable performance by Liam Neeson. Orlando Bloom is in this. The casting is not the issue. It's the pacing, it's the plot, it's the writing. It's just not great, admittedly. Sorry, guys. I'll let you guys know when. We've got Last of the Mohicans, a Michael Mann film. Definitely outside of his usual genre, crime genre, but this is more of a war period piece here that takes place, I believe, during the French-Indian War. You know, where the French and the Americans were going at it, and some of the Indian tribes, Native American tribes, sided with the French, some with the Americans and the English, and yeah. We've got Lincoln. Forgive me if I'm getting some of my history wrong. I'm like in auto mode, just like autopilot mode. Lincoln, never heard of him. I still actually haven't seen Lincoln, Spielberg's Lincoln. Lion of the Desert, haven't seen that one. Lone Survivor, haven't seen that one. I know, I have some work to do in the war genre. This is one of the first D-Day films that I know of. This came out, let's see, some of these films are a bit schmaltzy. Yeah, no, I'm sure. I just haven't seen many of them. And I have no problem relinquishing a film after I've seen it if I'm not a huge fan. But we've got, again, one of the first Normandy, you know, D-Day, Storming the Beaches of Normandy film. You want to see an incredibly technical and beautiful, oh my God, war film. If you want to call it that, it's more like a cat and mouse war film. This is about Napoleon's navy hunting down this British ship, and it really is like a cat and mouse thing. It's so fucking cool to see like the French Navy, you know, appear out of the fog and these incredibly cool cannon battles. It's just so great, epic, holds up remarkably well, based on a novel, directed by Peter Weir, and Russell Crowe has seldom been better. Men of Honor, a film I saw back in the day. I don't remember much from it. A buddy of mine really loved it. The Messenger, I'm a big Luc Besson fan. I don't think this is a bad movie. It's a little overlong. You know, it's not great, but it's still pretty cool to see Mila Jovovich as Joan of Arc kicking some ass. So, all right. Just going to stand up for uno momento. Let's see. Can't stand Robin Williams' comic relief. That's interesting. I do love him as a dramatic actor. Okay, interesting. I think they're both two sides of the same coin. Have you seen the Norm Macdonald comedy Dirty Work? Of course, yeah. Of course, with Chris Farley, who has his nose bitten off. Hey, what's up, Byron? Thanks for stopping back in. We'll get back to it. I don't think I talked about Glory. Great Civil War film. Amazing film. One of the best. For the Civil War, at least. Midway, a very fun war film. You know, very jingoistic. But very fun Roland Emmerich war film here with a nice refractive slipcover. Lot of great action, lots of CG, but it's very entertaining. It's a Roland Emmerich film. He doesn't make unentertaining movies, we'll say. Mongol, The Rise of Genghis Khan. Yes, I said. No, I'm sorry. It's Genghis Khan. It's not Genghis Khan. It's Genghis Khan. You have a favorite Norm joke bit? I don't. I enjoy him. I guess I don't actively seek him out. Um, the algorithm on YouTube seems to know that I enjoy him. I'm more of a Carlin kind of guy, but yeah, I love Norm too. He was way ahead of its time and very clever. Mel Gibson, The Patriot. What can I say? This is a Roland Emmerich film. Listen, I'm American. I'm not completely immune to feeling patriotic. I think patriotism could become a very unhealthy thing. I think being critical of your country while at the same time appreciating its accomplishments is okay, is a good thing. And that's what I am. And this film definitely invigorates me with some of that. What can I say? And I know a lot of people hate its jingoism, but hey, this movie kicks ass just in terms of a war film. Give me wait. So let's see. We've got Carlin bit. Well, I just think his tirades in the early '90s about politics and about conservatives and liberals, and I just feel like he knocked everything out of the park. I like when he gets more political in a time where it was definitely taboo to do that. But he was pissed off about everything: the military-industrial complex, conspiracy, financial conspiracies. I just love all of that, and it helped mold who I am, and a lot of it has come true. I know it's controversial. Pearl Harbor. Michael Bay flick I still haven't seen. Platoon, one of the best war films ever made. Oliver Stone, pulls no punches. This is an incredible war film and a great character study. Pork Chop Hill. A lot of these films I picked up because I had multiple DVDs, so I sold them off and got the Blu-ray virtually for nothing. Red Tails, about like an all-black American all-black platoon during the World War II. Haven't seen it. Red Dawn, talk about propaganda. This is a fantastically entertaining John Milius film here about what would happen if the Russians invaded on American soil. It's a fantasy. It's a propagandistic patriotic fantasy, but it is very entertaining. Rescue Dawn, Christian Bale, Steve Zahn. This is a really good Werner Herzog film. One of the only narrative films of his. Well, one of the few narrative films of his that I've seen. I've seen at least a third of the films in your filmography. You've probably seen more than I have. Resistance, haven't seen that. Saving Private Ryan, obviously one of the greats. Schindler's List, obviously one of the greatest films of all time. An incredible movie that I think, deserves to be in like a time capsule to show what cinema was capable of. We have Sergeant York, talk about schmaltz. We've got Spartacus. I love Spartacus. This was written by somebody who was an avowed communist in the 60s. And this is all about a communist uprising, really. He was able to write it in a really entertaining and provocative way. But what was his name? Wasn't he like Dalton Trumbull wasn't he on the blacklist for being a communist, et cetera, communist sympathizer? We've got Special Forces, not seen that one. Red Dawn is insanely jingoist, absolutely. But the audience knows it's being propagandized to. At the end of the day, all film is propaganda, right? Because you're trying to get people to think a certain way or think in multiple ways. But it's all, that's why you have to fortify your mind to consume art. You can't just take it all in. You have to be able to filter through it and use reason. And Tears of the Sun, a really good Antoine Fuqua, Bruce Willis, more action-oriented war flick. This is a film by David O. Russell that a lot of people love, a very satirical war film. I don't know what it is. I can't really get into it. Harmony Korine, not really. Not really. I think the ones I've seen are fine. They are what they are. They push boundaries, which I'm all for. I always like when people push the boundaries, because I'm somebody who doesn't get offended, really. I mean, I could point out when something's damn near close to a crime, like in Kids, but... Tora, tora, tora! Tiger, 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 that means in Japanese. And that was the go sign for Pearl Harbor by the Strategic Command. This is a great Japanese-American co-production, and it's a piece of history. It is what it is. It was kind of our cinematic way of shaking hands and saying, hey, let bygones be bygones. Sorry about dropping two bombs on your country. Sorry about that. But hey, let's make a movie together. U571, it's better to get along and collaborate and trade ideas and goods than it is to fight. I am all for that. U571, another submarine film I haven't seen. This one I picked up recently, based on a book, directed by Angelina Jolie. I've heard good things about it. Letterboxd Top 250 seems to overlap quite a bit with my taste. That's interesting. No, I haven't really looked into that. People who are more easily offended are more easily controlled. That is absolutely true. That is a piece of wisdom, I would say. Being offended is a choice. Words can hurt, but being offended is a choice. We grew up saying sticks and stones break bones, but words will never hurt you. In essence, that's true. Words, if you don't let them, cannot hurt you. Truth hurts, when people tell you the truth about your situation. It features a lot of Japanese and Hong Kong films you've mentioned during these streams. Interesting. Okay. There you go. The Wall. This is a, what's his name? Doug Liman war film here, I want to say. Yeah, I remember watching this one. It's not very memorable, though, because I don't remember much about it. A War. This is Swedish. Danish. There you go. We've got We Were Soldiers, another Randall Wallace, Randall Wallace and Mel Gibson movie here. We Were Soldiers, not as good as Braveheart, but still damn near close. I'm not damn near close, but a damn good film, I should say. Very brutal. Takes place during the initial days of the Vietnam conflict. Or not the initial days, but we'll say earlier than most movies cover. We've got, actually, doesn't this follow the first? I thought this was the first battle, but it's not. Okay, anyway, very good war film. Great action sequences. Wind Talkers, John Woo's American war film starring Nick Cage. I don't remember much about it, I gotta be honest. Dedicated shelves for mystery, romance, and musical. I do have one for musical, not for mystery. And that's another crime. All my mysteries are going to be in crime thriller. So it's really crime, mystery, thriller. It's really hard to parse those out, though. Wings here is an early war film, maybe one of the earliest I have in with Big Parade, 1927. Why did I pick this up? Because it's a nearly 100-year-old war film. That's why. Enemy at the Gates, a great cat and mouse sniper action war film that takes place during World War II, where Jude Law's character becomes a hero, a reluctant hero, which is how it usually goes. One of those stories. Zero Dark 30, I think it's okay. Charge my phone. Yeah, I have to keep my phone charged too. When my battery's about to die, that's when the stream ends. Mystery overlaps a lot with thriller. Yes, they do. And then Zulu Dawn, I haven't seen. And thank you for your service. Again, I haven't seen it. But all films I would like to watch. I don't separate action from adventure. They all go up there. Live action, or adventure. Again, I just don't want to overcomplicate things and confuse things. The idea is to make it easier for me to choose a movie. So a political thriller section would definitely help that, because instead of looking through all the crime thrillers to get to a good political thriller, I can have them separated. Gothic thriller is my favorite, or period-themed movies like Wuthering Heights, Crimson Peak. Definitely. I can get behind that for sure. Love a good gothic ghost story. All right, we're getting into westerns now, guys. Another genre that I haven't seen enough of. I would like to change that, but I have a nice little collection. A lot of spaghetti westerns that I love. Friend has hyper-specific genre. Erotic thrillers, gothic horror. And yeah, that's not a bad idea. I just need to figure out a good way to do it before I do it. All right, here we have The Grand Duel and Keoma. Two excellent spaghetti westerns here. Enzo Castellari and Giancarlo Santi. I love The Grand Duel. Keoma's definitely excellent too. Grand Duel is also known as The Big Showdown, which is different than The Big Gundown. All awesome. Let's see, more like spaghetti westerns. Yeah, spaghetti and meatballs westerns. There you go. This is one of those little cheapy sets here. I don't know much about this, but again, these are spaghetti westerns. Dead Man, Jim Jarmusch, and Texas Rangers. I really have this for Dead Man, and Texas Rangers is a bonus. I don't know much about it. Seems like an early 2000s version of Young Guns, essentially. Lee Van Cleef, yes, he is in The Grand Duel, which, if you haven't seen, is absolutely fantastic. It's also known as The Big Showdown, different than The Big Gun Down. Incredible music in all these two, guys. So I'm not the biggest John Wayne film, but I have seen The Searchers, which is fantastic. These two I haven't seen. 310, where would you place Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia? That's my type of Western right there. American Western, at least, and Straw Dogs. That's Peckinpah. He's in a, a genre all his own. But Bring Me the Head is right there. So I do have it in Westerns. NHL hits joke for me. Go for it. Hit me. We got 310 to Yuma, the remake, which is fantastic. James Mangold goodness. Such a good director, up until Dial of Destiny. Appaloosa, a solid Western that I saw back when I was a teenager, but haven't seen since. A very somber and melancholic Western film here about the assassination of Jesse James by the coward, Robert Ford. The coward is played by Casey, and Jesse James is played by Brad Pitt. Very realistic, down-to-earth, and, like I said, melancholic version of the Jesse James story. It is fantastic. It is so good, slow burn, but very nice. Very, very good movie. Beautiful to look at, too. Call his films neo-westerns. Yeah, I could see that. They're definitely their own thing. I feel that way about this. This is like a neo-western as well, I would say. It's kind of post-western. Tonight from Connecticut, the Bored Cyborg will show his collection of the western movies. There you go. I'm not in Connecticut, though. I'm in North Carolina right now. There's a Sam Peckinpah film that I actually haven't seen. Jason Robards, Stella Stevens. Revisionist Western. There you go. Yeah, that's the term. I'm not great with that kind of stuff, terms. Grindhouse releasing, which was owned by Sage Stallone, Stallone's son, who I believe passed away, killed himself. Unforgiven, yeah, revisionist Westerns. It's like deconstructions of the old mythological Western hero. You tried. I didn't get it. I'm sorry. I try. I'm doing like 4 things at once. It's probably my fault. Guys, you want to see one of the best Westerns of all time with an incredible soundtrack by Ennio Morricone? This is The Big Gun Down. Big Trail is a very early John Wayne Western there. Peckinpah at his finest. This is Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia, a dingy, rundown kind of atmosphere. Dilapidated West with a great scummy performance by Warren Oates. It's so good. Reminds me of James Woods. Overdosed, but I don't think it was purposefully. Gotcha. I got to see Walker. I've never seen that one. Stars Ed Harris and got director blacklisted from Hollywood for creating an extremely anti-capitalist studio Western. Interesting. Yeah, see, I'm not in favor of anybody getting blacklisted or canceled, no matter if they're on any side. Every side has something to give, and that's what we've forgotten. With this post-French Revolution way of thinking, the left and the right, it's actually vertical, not horizontal. It's the rich against the poor. It's not, that's what I think. It's always that, and we're tricked into thinking it's otherwise. Sometimes it's otherwise, but, Butch Cassidy's Sundance Kid, a Western that I like, that I don't love. I know, I'm crazy. Ballad of Lefty Brown. I've heard really good things about this revisionist Western. There you go. Guys, 11 people in here. I just want to say thank you to everybody. Feel free to give this live stream a thumbs up. If you haven't already, really helps with exposure for the live stream and getting new people in, which has been working. I've been getting a lot of new subscribers, so welcome to all of you guys, and thank you for joining. Let's see. Same director as Repo Man. Oh, Alex Cox. Okay. But yeah, he was definitely a subversive kind of filmmaker. I don't know anything about Westerns, but I'd love to. Yeah, well, I'm a spaghetti Western kind of guy, so a lot of the ones I've seen here are spaghetti Westerns. What's up, Brandon Chow? Thanks for stopping in. I appreciate it. We're taking a look at my Westerns right now and going to get to the crime and mystery and thriller films soon. Django! A great iconic Western here. This is not the one with Jamie Foxx. This is Sergio Corbucci, the one that Tarantino was obsessed with. And Franco Nero, who has a big, giant machine gun in a coffin he pulls around, which was what? Gungrave, right? Or Gungrave, I think, did that, the anime. Hammer Horror section. I should. I've been meaning to make one, yes. Have I seen any Franco Nero films? Yep, I have seen Django. Shout out Hitchhike with Nero. Yeah, I have that one too in the collection. I think that's in Crime Thriller. Sergio Corbucci, Django, and The Big Silence are two of the best spaghetti westerns. I still have to see The Big Silence. I don't own that. I still need to see that for sure. Django Unchained, a great Django, or a great Western movie here by, obviously, Tarantino. I watched this film twice when I first saw it. I was obsessed with it. I thought it was fantastic. And I haven't seen it since, if I'm being honest. El Dorado, John Wayne, Robert Mitchum. Heard a lot of good things about that one. Corbucci is incredible, isn't he? El Topo, this is a Alejandro Jodorowsky film that I actually have not seen. I've heard really good things about. Very trippy, weird, kind of transgressive Western. Once Upon a Time in the West, hell yeah. It's my favorite example. Slow action, yep. Fistful of Dynamite, speaking of Leone. This one's also called Duck You Sucker. I love that title. You can tell blaxploitation was popular in the early 70s. It's like, I'm going to get you, sucker. Reminds me of that. Rod Steiger, James Coburn. This, guys, has one of the great villain introductions in Rod Steiger. You don't even know if he's the villain, and then you think he's the villain, then he might not be, then he is. And it's just like a 25-minute introduction. It is fantastic. And all the introductions in this film are epic and fantastic. Yeah, spaghetti westerns influenced John Woo. I could see that. I mean, I could definitely see that. And he basically took the spaghetti western and crossed it with the wuxia, the sort of brotherhood, loyalty, honor. There's cross-section there, which makes sense, which is why he combined the best of both worlds, kind of like another filmmaker, George Lucas, did. The Eastern samurai and the Western gunfighter, both mythological creatures. I find it interesting that in America, this is a Carlin bit, in America, there are men who dress up as cowboys, which is a mythological figure for the most part. The way that we portray them in movies, at least. I guess, is there spaghetti in the Wild West? Yeah. In Italy, not over here. Well, maybe over here at the time. Fort Apache, Hang 'em High. Haven't seen those. Hateful Eight, fantastic Tarantino film. Kind of reminds me of The Thing. It's a lot like The Thing. Hatfield and McCoy's, haven't seen that. It's a miniseries, actually. That's right, yeah, it's all a big circle of inspiration and influence. No ideas original. High Noon. That's why traditions work. The hero's journey works. It'll always work. It speaks to something deeper within us. Something religious or spiritual, may I say. High Noon. Gary Cooper. Obviously a classic. A fantastic classic. Rio Bravo, Once Upon a Time in the West. There you go. There's Leone. He didn't make many films, but he made a lot of great ones. And this is one of his best. One of the greatest intros in all of cinema. Rio Bravo, haven't seen. We've got Lone Ranger, Hondo, Legend of Ben Hall, which I haven't seen. You ever tried making a feature-length film? Not feature-length. I've done short films. Yeah, of course, I'd love to be a filmmaker. I'm just trying to be more realistic. That's why trying to get back into YouTube so I can start, the creative wheels turning and show you guys some of my music and maybe make another film. I definitely want to do that. But it's hard. Life gets in the way, and responsibilities and illnesses and death, all that fun stuff. Lone Ranger. Do I hate this film? Nah. Do I like it? It's okay. I'm a fan of Clerks? Absolutely. I'm more of a fan of Jay and Silent Bob and Dogma. That's more my style because I'm an idiot. But I do love Clerks and I do love Chasing Amy, but I like when it gets super weird with Dogma and Jay and Silent Bob. I like Mallrats too. Lonesome Dove. Still haven't seen Lonesome Dove. Another mini-series. The Magnificent Seven remake. It's okay. It's passable. Antoine Fuqua doesn't really make bad movies. It's not bad. Bored Cyborg written dialogue. Maybe one day. I've got some idea. I've got 1,000 ideas. It's just a matter of having the time to produce them. A Man Called Horse. Richard Harris. I haven't seen this film. I've heard great things, though. It's kind of like a Dances with Wolves style thing. We've got The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. I've heard many, many good things about this late-stage John Wayne flick. Or no, it's not that late. I thought it was later. But 62, John Ford. Supposed to be very good. My Name is Nobody. This is Terrence Hill, Henry Ford. This is a spaghetti western produced, or at least presented by Leone, starring Terrence Hill, Henry Fonda. Music by Ennio Morricone. Directed by Tonino Valeri. Valeri. The Outlaw, Josie Wales, a classic Clint Eastwood Western here. I think he directed this. Yes, one of the early ones he directed. It's fantastic. I have not seen Rio Bravo. I know. Pale Rider, Clint Eastwood, haven't seen it. Another very interesting, I'd say neo-noir, kind of revisionist Western from Australia with Guy Pearce. Screenplay by Nick Cave from Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, the musician, very talented musician. Ray Winstone, Emily Watson, Danny Houston. This is a great, visceral Western. One of the more fun Westerns here is a Sam Raimi directed Western, American Western, that is just as fun as a Sam Raimi, you'd expect a Sam Raimi film to be. Ridiculous, over-the-top violence at points. Flamboyant characters, ones that impress you, stick out, stay with you. Leo DiCaprio plays this young gun. Russell Crowe's kind of your hero. Hackman's the bad guy. Sharon Stone's the chick who could, stand up on her own. Favorite TV and movie characters from Australia. Oh, geez. Fucking Mad Max. That's it. Have I seen Ballad of Buster Scruggs? Yeah, I actually have a review. One of my scripted reviews I did back in the day. Guys, all right, I'll be right there, folks. Okay, we're back. Sorry about that. We've got a booming chat. Well, respectively, 12 people. I just want to say thank you all for checking this out. We're looking at my Westerns, almost done. We're going to move over to crime, thriller, mystery here in a moment. Feel free to give me a thumbs up if you're enjoying the live stream. Let's get right back to it. If I can hit the right button. We've got Red Hill, which I hear, this is the guy who wanted to direct Expendables 3. I think he also did Hitman's Bodyguard. He went commercial and then, just like they all do, got bad at making movies because they get co-opted by the studio executives and the big businesses and are forced to change their movie. Anyway, Red Hill, I hear, is a very good, visceral, violent Western film, simple and effective. I've heard great things about it. Patrick Hughes directed that, then Expendables 3, then Hitman's Bodyguard, and then the sequel, I believe he did too. So there you go. I've heard that these are pretty hard to find, these Kino releases of the Sabata trilogy. You guys ever hear of that? Sabata trilogy, the third one has Yul Brynner, but the first two have Lee Van Cleef. And these are, I'm pretty sure, Italian. Frank Kramer, maybe they're not Italian. Or maybe he's using a, a lot of Italian filmmakers used Western-sounding names to appeal more to the West, I suppose. I thought, yeah, it's written by an Italian. It looks like, yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, these are supposed to be very good. Look into these, especially if you're a fan of Lee Van Cleef, which who the hell isn't? All right, I'm actually going to plug in the phone here just for a little bit. It might get in the way, but we've got Silverado, really underrated. Oh, God damn it. Poliziotteschi, Eurocrime Rabbit Hole. Yeah, that's one I definitely have not done. I've not gone down that rabbit hole. I know of the films, but I just haven't gotten there yet. I will. I'll discover it all in due time. That's the fun of cinema, isn't it? Silverado, speaking of fun, really fun roller coaster, kind of, mainstream Western of the time that was trying to reinvigorate the old classic mythological Western. And I think does so rather successfully. It's a fun film with a great cast. Check it out. I kept this in the collection because the reviews on Letterboxd were actually pretty solid. This is supposed to be a pretty over-the-top kind of exploitation kind of Western. The Wabbit Hole. What's up, Doc? What's up, Doc? We got Terror in a Texas Town. That's alliteration for you. I love me some alliteration. Never seen the film, though. Tombstone. I'll be your Huckleberry. Yeah, this is a classic film by George Cosmatos, a very underrated 80s and early 90s director. Great action, great cast, mythological Western extreme. We've got True Grit, which I haven't seen. Have I seen the original? Oh, man, I get mixed up. I don't think I have seen the original. So, there you go. Valdez is coming. Oh, the kitty! The kitty just jumped and then did a major stretch. He made a little weird noise, so I knew he was there. Kitty. Come on, give me some subscribers, kitty. Next up, we have Valdez is coming. Burt Lancaster. You got to love that cover. They tore his body. They buried his pride, but they forgot his Sharps rifle and his Buffalo gun. That's why I like Westerns, because of badass masculinity like that. The 70s, late 60s, 70s is more my time for the Westerns, that's for sure. But this is a little Western that I haven't seen since I was a teenager, but I remember really enjoying with an aging Burt Lancaster. Let's see. Says, Italian crime films of the 70s shot during the years of lead when their crime rates peaked is some of the rawest, most batshit grimy stuff you'll ever see. Inspired Tarantino and S. Craig Zahler. Well, S. Craig Zahler is one of my favorite modern filmmakers, but it seems he's gotten blacklisted, doesn't it? Because he makes movies, I guess, with... I don't know. What do you think? What do you think's going on with Zahler? Why isn't he making films? I know every time his films come out, people say he's this and he's that without watching the films. I guess the films do come from a more conservative-leaning standpoint, but what's the big deal? Let the guy make movies. Your kitty sleep. Yes, he's very cute. Like Garfield. Even cuter than Garfield, I'd say. We've got Wild Bunch, a film that I do enjoy, but not my favorite Peckinpah. His most popular and mainstream, though. Woman Walks Ahead. Not seen this one. I like the cast. Excuse me, I like the cast, but yeah. Love his films. Not sure what he's been up to lately. Yes. Yeah, I love Drag Across Concrete. I've seen that twice, and Bone Tomahawk is fantastic. Wired Earp, I'm not saying this one. Lawrence Kasdan directed, though, so. Young Guns. And Young Guns 2. Great fun westerns with a nice, vibrant young cast for the time. He did write the script for a horrible Puppet Master film. Also, I've heard that Puppet Master film's pretty good. But hey, to each their own. We've got American History X, a film that does hold up rather well in today's age, I will say. Brawl from Cell Block 99 is... Oh, yeah, I forgot about that one, dude. Oh, it's so good. So exploitationist. So visceral. Oh, the violence is hard-hitting, man. Let's see. We've got American History X and A History of Violence. I love A History of Violence, and I really like... It's hard to love a film like American History X because of its subject matter and what it's getting to, but man, great performances around. Pretty good by Puppet Master standards, may not be a high bar. Touche. History of Violence, great movie. Also, if you want to see a Hong Kong remake of that, it's called Dragon, I believe. Was it? Oh, damn it. Was it Dragon or The Mask? I think it was Dragon. Very good, very good. Awesome stuff. Adore History of Violence. Yeah, great performances around, and one of those that keeps you guessing, but really a great soliloquy on violence and its haunting nature and the idea that causing violence creates an endless cycle of violence. It's just a fantastic movie. Oh, wow. Favorite Cronenberg film. That's awesome. I've heard great performances in PBS show. Was it filmed in NYC? I'm not sure what you're referring to there, buddy. Suggestion for a future live stream video. Cronenberg movie tier list, including his son's film. That would be good. I think I did one. I think there's something on my channel already like that. We've got Color of Night and Playing God 2. I have it because of Color of Night, and it's Bruce Willis. I have to see it. We've got Donnie Brasco and We Own the Night. Donnie Brasco, so I have a rule. I have a mafia, like a mob movie area. And if it's from the perspective of the police, I don't put it there. But if it's from the perspective of the mob, I do put it there. So Casino goes there. Goodfellas goes there. Brasco doesn't, because the main character, the conduit for the audience, is an undercover cop. So Untouchables, same thing, from the perspective of the cops. Pro-cop, right? Have you seen Night Moves with Gene Hackman? Is that the one? No, I have not. Narrow Margin, I've seen. Hollywood Homicide and Hudson Hawk. That's a lot of alliteration. Let's see. Where does Donnie Brasco? It just goes... Untouchables and Donnie Brasco just go in regular crime. Again, not a perfect system, but hey. Mercury Rising, nice, underrated Bruce Willis movie that I guess is a little controversial for its depiction of autism or whatever. But I think it's an entertaining flick that handles the subject matter fine. The Jackal, a memorable film because it has some incredibly cool sequences. I still need to see the original, but The Jackal is very good if you want to see Bruce Willis in the 90s as a villain. Miami Vice, director's cut, which I haven't seen. I have seen most of it, but I haven't actually watched the whole thing. I don't know what it is about this movie. Inside Man, Spike Lee heist film. Definitely, unlike most of Spike Lee's films, more mainstream in that sense, but still a very good one. I've heard excellent things about Pyun's Radioactive Dreams, and I believe there's a decent copy of it on YouTube. I do need to watch that. No Country for Old Men, talk about neo-westerns that, like revisionist westerns that deconstruct the genre in really interesting ways and speaks to, the idea that the bad guy sometimes wins. In fact, often. Gone Baby Gone, a really hard-hitting and realistic, visceral mystery thriller, police procedural kind of mystery thriller, but great cast, really, really disturbing at points, and an incredible sequence where Casey Affleck breaks into a house and discovers something absolutely atrocious. It's a fantastic film. Ben Affleck's probably best directed film, in my opinion. Hello, Master Kitty. I call him Master Kitty because he is actually we do everything for him. We feed him. We treat him well. It's a play on the joke where if aliens came down, they would think that cats are the ones that are, the dominant species. Bruce Willis's Mercury Rising is my favorite film of his. There you go. There's some love for Mercury Rising. Which favorite films of all time had directly inspired the franchise Fallout and also heavily influenced the post-apocalyptic genre in Japan? Which movie are we talking about? I'm curious. Hey, Robin, thanks for stopping in. I appreciate it. Thank you for the kind words. Yes, I do plan on getting back into the swing of things. I'm just using these frequent live streams to get the wheels turning and to get people interested and get excited about making videos again. Radioactive, really? Okay, well, I definitely have to check that out. That's crazy. That's wild. Bruce Willis was also in the Beavis and Butthead movie. That's right. Wow. Pelican Brief and A Time to Kill, two solid procedural crime films. One's a courtroom drama. Well, I think both are technically courtroom dramas, but yeah, two very good, entertaining films. I miss the 90s for that kind of stuff. Traveler and Telling Lies in America, two films I don't know much about at all, but seem interesting enough. The Yards, an Irish gangster film that takes place in the modern era. And The Lookout, a bank heist film that I don't know much about. I've heard really good things about, though. Body of Lies, Edge of Darkness, Pride and Glory. All solid films. My favorite of the bunch is Pride and Glory. Very memorable, sort of two sides of the law kind of film where you have these friends or brothers. I don't really exactly remember. One's a cop, one's a gangster. That kind of a story, if I'm remembering correctly. The Town, yeah, The Town is excellent too. I prefer Gone Baby Gone, but The Town is one hell of a heist film. I have some problems with the writing at certain points, some of the character work. Diabolique, Incognito, and The In Crowd, a triple feature I haven't seen, but very interesting. What are my favorite mob films that aren't Scorsese? We'll talk about those when I see them. I have to see them to remember my thoughts at this point. In Too Deep is a great undercover cop thriller, gangster thriller from like a Black American perspective. And it's very interesting for that. This also has 3 other films on Blu-ray. Glass Shield, a good one. Malevolent, I haven't seen. And Rage in Harlem is supposed to be good, but I haven't seen it. Meow. 7, Copycat. What's up, buddy? You want pets, don't you? I don't have any hands. 7, obviously a classic, still holds up remarkably well. Copycat, really underrated mystery thriller, serial killer thriller. And Taking Lives, one I haven't seen, actually. Live and Die in L.A. Oh, yeah, I didn't like that film the first time I watched it, but, man, the second time, which was a couple years ago, absolutely floored me with its pace, its atmosphere, its hazy sort of vibe. Yeah, he does have the brain damage issue. It's, what's it called? It's a specific thing that disallows him memory and language, right? Something to do with the language part of our brains. We've got 3 Days of the Condor, a film that I appreciate for how ahead of its time it was, commenting on things like the military-industrial complex and the power of the deep state and things like that. Aphasia, there you go. I had the phasia part right, but I forgot the first part. Sidney Pollack, solid political thriller that I don't enjoy as much as some. 3 Days to Kill, pretty trippy little action thriller here by Mick G. I think this one's kind of unique and has some really interesting sequences, gunfight sequences. Luc Besson actually wrote the screenplay for this, helped, which probably explains why it's a little strange. He actually wrote the story, so there you go. Mick G is a director that I think is pretty solid. He makes entertaining movies. I'm not sure what he's done lately, but Seventh Day I haven't seen. I'm not even sure where to put this, if this belongs in horror, but this is an Angela Bettis starring little crime satire, dare I say, where this young woman is doing some illegal things at the hospital she works at with blood and organs, and gets in way over her head, and Angela Bettis plays over her head or crazy really, really well. I think she's great. Mick G did Street Kings. Is that true? I know he did Terminator Salvation. I'm an apologist for that film. I know he did Charlie's... no, did he do Charlie's Angels? I want to say he did The Babysitter, which I like quite a bit. 16 Blocks. Really one of the last great performances by Willis in terms of action star. Mos Def is kind of annoying in this movie, I have to be honest. He usually doesn't annoy me, but his character's idiosyncrasies are kind of annoying to me. Not much chemistry there between the two of them, Willis and Mos Def. Love Mos Def as mostly as a rapper, but also as an actor. Not That Babysitter. That's a different one I don't think I've seen. Richard Donner. Was this the last Richard Donner film? Rest in peace. A very good little thriller there. Action thriller. 24 Hours to Live. This always reminded me sort of Ethan Hawke's John Wick, but I haven't seen it. I've heard some pretty good things about it. And, yeah, do want to check it out. 88 Minutes. This is a Pacino crime thriller here. Don't know much about. But it's a Pacino crime thriller. Directed by John Avnet. Didn't he do The Core? Decent little disaster flick. Babysitter from 2017 is the one I'm referring to, which is a really fun flick. In my opinion. 99 Homes. Don't know much about it. I like the cast. What's it? Andrew Garfield and Michael Shannon. And Laura Dern. 360. Again, I own all these films for a good reason. Fernando Meirelles is directed this one. He's a solid director, so I own this because I have to see. Oh, The Stepfather. Of course, I've seen The Stepfather. It's psychological horror at its absolute finest. Really digs into some deep stuff there. Haven't had a baby since 04, 05. That's funny. Why do I have this? I must see Tyler Perry as an action guy. I really have to see that. That's supposed to be very bad. I would like to check that out for myself. All the Money in the World. Why do I own this? Well, simple. It's a Ridley Scott film. Crime film. I'd like to see it. Give it a shot. Seldom let down by Ridley Scott. That rhymed. I'm fine. Alpha Dog. Devastating picture. A devastating motion picture with an incredibly powerful character arc by Anton Yelchin, Rest in peace. And just good characters all around. Explores an area of crime that hasn't been or isn't explored much. Sort of white collar, like, how do you say, white collar crime? I don't even know what to call it. But sort of, California kind of vibe, suburbs of LA. There you go. And just a great film. Bruce Willis is actually in this as one of the main characters' dad. It's a devastating picture by Nick Cassavetes. Have been watching any movies this past week? Yes, of course. I'm always watching movies. I just watched Blade with my buddy today. Michael, if you're watching. Oh, actually, Michael, he's in the Lilo and Stitch right now, my buddy. The Alex Cross films with Morgan Freeman are good. Yeah, those are good. Yep. Blade holds up remarkably well. Still one of the best introductions. Love that shit. Shit is hype. Makes me miss the 90s. It's such a great introduction. And the film holds up really well. Does it have some shoddy CGI? Yes, it does. But I think it's pretty stylized and adds to the fantastic nature of the flick. And Wesley Snipes is badass. Alphabet City, cool cover art there. Obviously newly commissioned. And I don't know much about this, but it's supposed to be a very moody neo-noir kind of thriller here. That's the original artwork. So that's pretty cool. Gotta love when they do that. Both artworks. All right. CGI didn't exist until the early 90s. Yeah, pretty much. I think the first film to use computer graphics was actually Westworld, if I'm not mistaken. And they used it for the digitized vision of the Yul Brynner character, the Man in Black character. Which is interesting that the first time CG is used is to make the perspective from the robot more believable. I think that's pretty cool. We've got, let's see. Oh, the rave scene is amazing, isn't it, in Blade? Yeah. How many Brandon Lee films have you seen? Not enough. I still need to see Legacy of Rage. But I've seen a bunch of his others. Laser Mission and, what's the one from 1990? Rapid Fire. Oh, my God. Rapid Fire. It's amazing. The Crow, obviously. We've got The American. Haven't seen this little George Clooney sleek spy thriller. American Assassin, based on a book, haven't seen it. American Hustle, David O. Russell, that rhymed, a filmmaker that I'm not huge on. I do want to see this, though. American Made, a filmmaker that I do like, Doug Liman. I think he makes mostly nothing but great films. American Made is supposed to be good. Same duo as Edge of Tomorrow, a.k.a. Live, Die, Repeat. Powers Booth. Oh, yeah, Powers Booth. Isn't he great in, what's the Sudden Death? Isn't he a great villain in that one? Anna, a film that I saw in theaters because I'm a Luc Besson fan. I am a fan of his work. So I was there day one to see Anna in an empty theater, and it was a good flick. It was a twisty-turny little political thriller with some good action sequences and a great lead performance, I thought. Very sexy lead performance by this chick here, Sasha Luss. And Cillian Murphy, Helen Mirren, great cast. I don't know, a solid Luc Besson films if you know what to expect from him. George Clooney Jetson. Such a gritty voice. Yeah, Powers Booth. Yeah, he's got a gritty look to him. I saw Emerald Forest pretty recently, and he was in that. Totally different kind of role. Antitrust. Cool to have this on Blu-ray. I haven't seen this since I was a kid in the early 2000s. But I remember it being a fun little, hacker thriller kind of thing. Bad Lieutenant. Haven't seen this since I was younger, too. I remember it being very disturbing. This character is just such a scumbag, for lack of better terms. He does some really questionable stuff. This is a very controversial film for the time. But hey, Abel Ferrara was pushing the envelope quite a bit. That's why I like him. He's also in the highly underrated flick Frailty. Oh my God, Frailty with Bill Paxton. And yeah, that's an incredibly underrated movie. Matthew McConaughey. Yep, Powers Boot. There you go. That's right. Bad Times at El Royale. I got to be honest, the first time I watched this, it blew me away. I was absolutely floored by how good the writing in this film was, how it kept me interested the whole time, introduced a vast cast of characters who all had their own little stories to tell, and they all kind of come together. I actually really loved this Tarantino-esque crime thriller. Basic Instinct. It is what it is. It's not my favorite Verhoeven film. Not really my genre, but of the genre, the erotic mystery thriller, it is one of the best. That's for sure. Which guy is directing the new Matrix? What's his name? The guy who did this? What's it, Drew Goddard? Yeah, Drew Goddard. Well, he's a good writer. We'll see. I mean, after Resurrections, I don't really give a shit what happens with the Matrix. Opinions on the sequels. I think Reloaded is one of the more underrated action films because it's usually compared to the first. I think The Matrix Revolutions is fantastic. Reloaded is fantastic. I was there to see it in day one, both movies. And Revolutions, I think, is fine for what it is. It does go off the rails a little bit in terms of its story, but it sticks the landing of, I guess, what they extrapolated the original film story to even mean. They didn't even want to do those films. That's why I try to view them more as as action movies. I think, again, Reloaded is an incredible action movie. It just is. The plot, I still enjoy. It doesn't go off the rails to the third film for me. But I still enjoy all three. But nothing comes close to the first. Resurrections was a smack in the face to the audience and to the fans, just like Last Jedi was, and just like Joker 2 seems to be. I'm not a fan of that kind of tongue-in-cheek, oh, you want a sequel? Here you go. Here's a sequel. We're going to butcher all your favorite characters. Not a fan of that. Waste of money and creativity. Before the Devil Knows You're Dead is a fantastic Sidney Lumet film. In fact, I believe this is Lumet's last film. Another sort of, hey, stop it. Stop fucking with my shit. This is another little homespun crime. Stop it. Stop. Crime film, kind of like Fargo, in the sense that it's a smaller story, not very epic in scale or vast in scale. Yeah, it was directed by the original director, but she pretty much makes explicitly clear that she did not want to make the film, and she was forced to, or not forced to, she was paid a whole bunch of money to do it, and then she continued to shit on the franchise and the people who enjoy it. That's the way I perceived it. I get she deconstructs it a little bit, but that wasn't needed. Sometimes you don't want to make... Why would you want to make a fictional piece of art, especially one of the best? Why would you want to make that more obsolete or make fun of that or deconstruct? I don't know. It's all within the realm of artistic endeavor, but it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. I mean, why would you want to break the immersion of the first trilogy? I just don't really get it. I get that the simulation stuff is kind of built into that. Dude, all right, now you're actually pissing me off. You're going to see me get mad at the cat now. Go away, dude. I'm sorry. All right, didn't realize... Dude, go away. This fucking cat. This fucking cat. Look, he's attacking me. He's evil. Well, you may not have perceived it that way. Making fun of the... yes, absolutely. It was definitely making fun of the studio. I agree. The Last Jedi directly makes... the shits on the fans. That's a fair point. But I have to watch Resurrection. It was in my notes. I don't remember exactly why I feel the way I feel when I watch these movies. It's been years. But, yeah, I'd have to watch it again to verify that. All right, we've got Bellflower, Beyond a Reasonable Doubt. I'm not sure if this is going to be one I enjoy, but Big Bad Wolves. A lot of people love this film. I'm not too huge on it. I think it's an okay thriller that has some pretty major plot issues. Big hit, and okay, decently fun. I should check out Speed Racer. Speed Racer by the Wachowskis. I love that movie. It's one of my favorites. Yeah, it's unlike anything else in the world. I agree with you. It is such a unique film. So much passion is in that movie. I've never seen anything quite like it aesthetically or visually. It tells a very simple corruption story that applies to all aspects of life. And it's a powerful hero's journey. It's just fantastic. And aesthetically unlike anything I've ever seen. So I'm right there with you. Some of these I haven't seen. Black Klansman, not my favorite Spike Lee, but a pretty okay dark comedy. Blood Diamond. Do you see any diamond? This movie I really liked when it came out. And I enjoy it for what it is. Let's see. Yeah, heartfelt story. Beautiful. Yeah, it's a beautiful little movie. I think it's fantastic. Bloodfather. This is one of the good Mel Gibson movies that's come out over the last, 10 years or so. He actually wrote the story for... No, he didn't write the story for this. He wrote the story for Get the Gringo. We'll talk about soon. But Bloodfather is a very good little revenge flick. My favorite movies somewhere? Yeah, on Letterboxd. I'll make it public if it's not already. Good luck going through all my lists. There's tons of them. All right, we've got Blow, a movie that I loved in my teenagers. I loved to blow in my I loved Blow in my teenagers. I'm a huge Speed Racer fan. I think it's a nearly perfect movie, if I'm being honest. This movie is about, what was his name? Young, not Carl Young, some other Young that was a drug dealer, played by Johnny Depp. A pretty straight-up crime film. Not much action or anything, but it's a cocaine film about a cocaine dealer. It's pretty good. Love to compare your list with my own. Yeah, that'd be interesting. Blue Knight, William Holden, Liam Remick, don't know much about it. Picked that up at a bookshop. Blue Velvet, da 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 da. Not a huge fan of this movie. I appreciate it for what it is. One of the more or less weird Lynch films. It's a good little crime thriller. Boiler Room, I haven't seen this since I watched it years and years ago. Don't remember much about it, frankly. Bone Collector, I think this is a pretty good... In the 90s, in early 2000s, there was this string of movies based on popular suspense novels of the time by like Grisham and Patterson and Jeffrey Deaver. This one is a Jeffrey Deaver book. The Bone Collector, solid movie, keeps you guessing, good performances. I'm a sucker for those kinds of 90s and early 2000s political thrillers. Fuck anything that moves. Dennis Hopper. Yeah. We've got Bonnie and Clyde, a film I still haven't seen. That's crazy, I know. A sort of remake of it with Emil Hirsch. And we've got The Brave One, directed by Neil Jordan. I like Neil Jordan as a director. This is a pretty good revenge film here with Jodie Foster and like a sort of a, she commands the whole movie. It's kind of her movie. The whole plot revolves around her. Brick. This is back when I loved Rian Johnson's work. Brick was so unique, so subversive, really went off the beaten path in terms of how to tell a crime story, focused on younger characters in school. It's kind of like a Sherlock Holmes film in the American high school system, or like young American, high school system, essentially. Very cool. You got the Kingpin played by Lucas Haas. Just really cool casting and a great little mystery thriller here that unfolds like a modern Sherlock Holmes flick. I love this, and I love Looper. And then Rian Johnson kind of is dead to me beyond that. The Valachi Paper, Stone Killer, Breakout, Hard Times. I want to see all these films. But the one I really want to see is Walter Hill's Hard Times, one of the early Walter Hill films from '75. One of my favorite directors, hard-hitting, take-no-shit American filmmaker. Mike, when he honors the most cursed, unholy D-grade film of all time. I don't know why I own this, but I've seen it twice. Mike, when he shows off a classic masterpiece. I've not seen this yet. Yeah, I'm not a perfect person. I'm a flawed individual. But hey, I try to be consistent. Death Wish 2, 3, and 4. I haven't seen the Death Wish sequels, admittedly. I have seen the original, which is classic. This is a mob film through the eyes of a non-mob member trying to keep his son out of the mob. This is one of the great street dramas, crime dramas of the 90s. I think this is a fantastic and heartfelt film, which with so much passion that comes, it seems, directly from the mind of Robert De Niro, who directs this film, and deals with some heavy... This was based on a play, a one-man play by Chaz Palminteri, and the pairing of Chaz Palminteri with De Niro is just phenomenal, and it deals with interracial relationships and poverty and the mob trying to recruit young members and a father trying to stand in between that while not getting killed. So many great dynamics for a drama, and it works so well. Look at that dust. Ugh, I need to dust more often. Brooklyn's Finest, a solid little crime thriller from the perspective of multiple different characters. I think it's actually pretty well done. Fuqua directs that one. Kind of like Departed. Everybody's a crook in this one. Bullethead, I haven't seen that. Buried, I think this is a pretty good bottle thriller, meaning it all takes place in one area. Ryan Reynolds opens up or wakes up in a coffin. He doesn't know why he's there. The mystery unfolds from there. It's pretty good, pretty damn good thriller, I think. I'm a sucker for those kinds of flicks. Burn, I've heard good things about this. An old Dollar Tree find. What's up, Dean? Hello from the UK. Thank you so much. That's awesome that I'm getting people from all over the place. I want to say thank you to everybody that's in the live stream right now. Feel free to give the live stream, a thumbs up. That helps people see my channel. I also do super chats. Feel free to donate to the channel if you see fit. If you want to see more stuff like this, it goes into the channel. Anything that I make from the channel, which isn't much, goes back into the channel to try to make it better. So we've got Nicolas Cage triple feature, which I have under C for Cage. Trespass, an okay Joel Schumacher flick. I think that was Schumacher. Yep. Bad Lieutenant, I hear, is crazy. And Stolen, I haven't seen. The Call, this is an okay Brad Anderson film. I'm a fan of Brad Anderson with Session 9. He's actually a Connecticut filmmaker, so I kind of have an affinity for him because of that. Do I have an opinion on films shot on digital versus film? I don't mean to be a snob, but I definitely prefer the warm, softer look of film. Absolutely, I'm in the same boat. Digital looks too clean almost all the time. I like film grain, baby. A film I just rewatched late one night, and I think this still holds up remarkably well. One of the best Robert De Niro performances, hands down. And a very young, almost dangerously young Juliette Lewis. I think she was 18 when she filmed this. But there are some very risque moments. I will say I'm hyper attracted to Juliette Lewis from the movie Strange Days, which was a little bit later than this, but she was super young in this film, so it is a little... basically Max Cady is stalking this family, and the young girl who Juliette Lewis plays a teenager in this, like a younger teenager. And the dynamic there is very, very tough to watch, where she's kind of attracted to his bad boyness, and it's very hard to watch, very effective, great flick about a man who's just trying to protect his family. One of the best Robert De Niro performances. Oh yeah, Scott Adkins, he's, one of my favorites. I think he's fantastic. One of the last great action heroes. Captain Phillips, a great little political thriller here. Good performance by Tom Hanks and Abdi, is that his name? I think it's a good one. Catch Me If You Can, underrated Spielberg, great adventure flick. Fast-paced, great writing, witty, great editing, great direction. It's just such a solid flick that I think people don't talk about enough in terms of Spielberg. Scott Adkins did deserve a bigger career. If he came out in the 80s and 90s, he would have. I feel that way about a lot of people. Remember how I talked about Marvel and comic book movies have sort of absorbed all the other genres? Well, Atkins was a casualty of that. But there still isn't any good reason why Atkins is choosing these terrible action movies by not-so-great directors. I'm sure he has better opportunities. I also understand he's working. He needs to make money. Chain Reaction, an okay flick, Andrew Davis flick that I want to like more than I do. I think it's a pretty good eco-thriller. Charade, Potato. I haven't seen that, if I'm being honest. Changeling, a really good, very solid Clint Eastwood film here. Changeling, sort of a crime mystery. Very frustrating at points because you really see the story through the eyes of Angelina Jolie's character, who's just trying to get to the bottom of what happened to her son, and she can't seem to. Yeah, Isaac Florentine ran out of money and offered. That seems to be the case. He makes garbage now, and so does Jesse V. Johnson. Jesse V. Johnson doesn't seem to be making great films. He had like 3 or 4 that were absolutely fantastic. And I was like, it can only go up from here. Yeah, I know. I don't understand it. City Heat. This is a buddy cop movie with Clint Eastwood and Burt Reynolds. Takes place during Prohibition. It's okay. It's not great. Not great chemistry there. City of God, a film that people used to talk about all the time back in the early IMDb days, and as one of the greatest films of all time. I think it's up there. I think it is a fantastic Brazilian film that encapsulates an era very well. as a Westerner, it definitely shook me up into what the the vast possibilities of crime could be. They relied on the DVD market to make money. Yeah, that's a good point. DTV, right? Direct to video. We still call it that. It's direct to streaming. That's gone now, and streaming is peanuts. Yeah, streaming is destroying cinema in a lot of ways. There's no incentive to make good movies if you're streaming, because they get their money anyway. Either way, why would they bother to make a good movie? Just dump a whole bunch of money in it, get a bunch of stars, whatever. We're gonna make our money either way. What incentive is there to make a great film? This is where competition does breed art, good art. I mean, this is just, yeah, it's a shame. More John Carpenter films. I think that boat has sailed, Dean. I think that era is behind us, sadly. Michael Mann, great little thriller here. Keeps you on your toes, tense, great performances around. Seeing Tom Cruise and Jamie Foxx in roles that they don't usually play. Yeah, I agree with you. Yep. Compliance. Film that I'm not really big on. I think it's pretty interesting in what it does. It's just... can't really talk about it because there's spoilers. But these films here I haven't seen. Conversation I have seen. This is a great Francis Ford Coppola film with great performances. John Cazale, another John Cazale film. The famous Italian-American director who was only in like 5 films. Godfather 1, 2... Conversation, Deer Hunter, and Dog Day. And God, all of those were nominated for Academy Awards. It's incredible. All right, we're at the 90-minute mark. I'm going to take a sip of water. I'm going to lean this up right here just for a second. I'm going to stretch a little bit. I'll be right back. La 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 la. All right, guys, we are going up the ladder, and through the woods to grandmother's house we go. All right, so we're gonna do the top row here, which is a continuation of my box sets, and feel free to give this stream a thumbs up. Anybody that's new to the channel, feel free to subscribe. I appreciate it. Naked Gun Trilogy. I recently added this to the collection, which is crazy that it took me this long to get it, but I had it on DVD forever, and to be frank, these are not films you absolutely need to watch on Blu-ray, but I'm glad to have it in one nice, concise little collection. Is anybody excited for the Akiva Goldsman, Lonely Island-produced Naked Gun movie that's coming out? Starring Liam Neeson. I think he could pull it off. We'll see. I just think that's so interesting. I hope it comes. So we ended off with the Men in Black trilogy there. And the bride chilling up there, in an uncomfortable position, I'm sorry. Mission Impossible 6 movie collection. There are now 8, of course. But this is fine. I'll get the other 2 when I get them. I love all these films, except for 2. I know it's cliche and a little trite, but 2 is pretty rough. Not the best John Woo film. Probably one of the weakest, I would actually say. Is it entertaining? Yeah, it's not bad. It's like a 2.5 out of 5. It's not terrible. But 1 is fantastic. 3 is where the framework kind of comes into place for what we would end up seeing from the Mission Impossible movies. These grand set pieces and all that. Let's see. What's my favorite? My MI ranking? I'd say Fallout's my favorite. Ghost Protocol. Rogue Nation, the first one, the third one, and then 2. I'd probably put Dead Reckoning somewhere between the first and third. I still love Dead Reckoning. I think it's fantastic. I think all these are 4 out of 5s or above. Fallout, I honestly think, is one of the greatest action films ever made. I just do. I think it has some of the great set pieces. It has things like Henry Cavill cocking his arms before a fist fight. An incredible... It has fisticuffs, it has gunplay, it has incredible stunts, it has everything that a growing boy needs. One of the great action films of all time. That's just off the top of my head. Might be a little different. Yeah, I think The Rock needs to stop making movies. But hey, he's having his Oscar baity movie coming out soon that everybody's excited for, so there you go. Final Reckoning and enjoyed it. That's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing the first half is a bit melodramatic, building some of the characters, and I hear the second half is Mission Impossible goodness. I'll be going to see it soon. I'm not gay, but Cavill's mustache made me feel things. Yeah, he's a beautiful man, especially in that film. I have no problem. I'm a straight male myself. I have no problem admitting when a man is attractive. The Mummy Ultimate Trilogy. This is a great Mummy set. This even has... Oh, actually, I thought it did. I thought it had a Scorpion King. That's okay. Don't worry. I have that covered. I love the Mummy films. The first one is one of the great Indiana Jones-like films, action-adventure films of the 90s. It's fantastic. The second one, more of the same. Doesn't really blow anything off the lid, but it kind of plays it safe and delivers another fun action-adventure flick with a great heroic performance by Brendan Fraser, who I miss that version of Brendan Fraser very much. And then the third one, which I think is an okay movie, but it is certainly misguided. Man Crush? Keanu, right? Keanu's awesome. He's just so cool. He seems to be a good person, and he's one of the great action stars, so there you go. He's awesome. Here's a 4-movie collection of musicals: The Bandwagon, Calamity Jane, Kiss Me Kate, Singing in the Rain. I own this because I am a fan of Singing in the Rain. Talk about man crushes. Gene Kelly. What a paragon of masculinity. Unbelievable athlete. That dude was like an action star with dance before, A lot of people say that John Wick is kind of like Singing in the Rain, kind of like musical numbers, kind of like a ballet. I think that's true. This is a weird little trilogy here. Nemesis 2, 3, and 4. It doesn't have the first one, which is the only one worth watching, of course. But no, I own these 3. All directed by Pyun. The first one's directed by Pyun too. But, these 3 are fine. They're okay. They're entertaining. They're Pyun films. What do you expect? Christopher Nolan, director's collection here. This has Batman Begins, Dark Knight, Inception, Memento, Insomnia. I want to say my favorite Christopher Nolan film is Inception. I just think it's such a cool movie, thematically speaking. It's philosophical. It has incredible action set pieces, a good cast that works together very well. I just think it's his best. What can I say? A lot of people disagree. Memento's up there. Dark Knight's up there. Simon Yam. I love Simon Yam from Bullet. Yeah. Remember him in Full Contact? Remember his villain in Full Contact? He plays a flamboyantly gay villain, and I just think it's so cool and way ahead of its time. And how you do that kind of thing. It's just so believable. Love to send you the Toe film, Sparrow. I'd love that. I've never even heard of that one. We'll talk about it. There's some things that you've said that sound interesting to me. So, oh, I know, it's so good. Here's a trilogy of comedies I haven't seen called the Oh God Collection. I sold off my DVDs, which were out of print, and I got that, which is nice. The Omen I have over here, not in my horror collection because I ran out of room. But Omen, this has all of them. This is the set you want from Scream Factory, the original, 2, 3, 4, and the remake. I've only seen the original and the remake. That's a series I would like to get into this October. OSS 17. These are French Bond-like films, if I'm not mistaken. There's a whole series of them here. This collects most of them. This is just so cool to me. So these are 5 French films here. Kind of a James Bond. Looks like the Duke Togo from Golgo 13, kind of. I like Tenet too. I really do. I want to watch that again. That movie flips my wig, man. Like that, I've never seen anything like it that attempts to do what it does, like action sequences in reverse, and the way it deals with time is very, again, is very philosophical and has a lot of cool ideas. And I just think it has some very cool scenes. Oppenheimer was great. Yeah, no, listen, I like Tenet too. I'm with you. Yeah, exactly. We have some cool stuff here. Planet of the Apes. This nice box set here, which has unfortunately gotten a little crushed. That's okay. I think it had a booklet or something at some point. This actually collects all of the films up to War of the Planet of the Apes. I've seen Kingdom. I think Kingdom is pretty good. My favorite is the original. And then I love the sequels for what they are. And then the new trilogy I like quite a bit. I'd say War is my favorite, Rise is my second favorite, and Dawn is my third favorite. I have issues with Dawn that I usually disagree on. I usually disagree with people on that one. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Rise, and I love the thematic shift by the end of the film. I just think the dichotomy between the first film in the franchise and the third is palpable, and it's very powerful and poignant, and Caesar's story is a relatable and memorable one. Yeah, Franco was a good actor. I agree with you. He got canceled, yeah. DC Universe 10th Anniversary Collection. This has like 30 films, guys. Ah, man, this thing is so cool. This is the DC animated stuff. It collects like the first 30 movies or so. It's fantastic. And then here's for my martial arts heads out there. I have the Shawscope Volume 1, and that's Volume 2. Maybe at the end of these videos, I'll talk about all the movies that are in those. Too much to do right now. And I'm all the way up on this ladder, so. All right. Thank you guys so much for checking out this live stream. There's so many people in here right now. Definitely the most I've had. So thanks a lot for that. I really appreciate you guys. Predator triple feature. I actually swapped out. There's a Predator Blu-ray that is a terrible, glossy, digitized, remove the noise and film grain version of Predator that I do not own. This one I put into this set from another release. That's a much better version. Predator 2 I love pretty much just as much as Predator 1. I think it's incredible. It's the concrete jungle. I just think it's fantastic. We've got Predators. The third one I think is very, very good. Fun little Predator sequel. Adrian Brody as an action hero is convincing enough for me. I like it quite a bit, actually. You get my toe collection, I get your Shawscope collection. Oh my God, I don't think I can make that trade. What's your next row this time? We've got 2 more rows of crime. I'm probably going to do that. We're already at an hour and a half, 45% battery. And then I'm going to try to get down a little bit further. We'll see. We'll see, guys. These don't need to be 3 hours long every time. I could do more if I do less time. Stallone Rambo 5-film collection. This has everything up to Last Blood, so the complete set here. My favorite is the first one. I think it's the best movie overall. Second favorite is going to probably be Rambo from 07 or 08, directed by Stallone. I love that movie. Viscerally, brutally violent, but a great story. And then First Blood Part 2, I love. And 3, I love too. What can I say? Last Blood is the only one that feels like a cash-in, sort of a Taken ripoff. Doesn't feel like a Rambo film to me at all. And yes, I was there in theaters. I will miss these shelf videos when they end. Yeah, no, I hear you. Hey, there's going to be tons of stuff. I've got some cool stuff planned, so we'll see. The Riddick collection here, the complete collection. There's a new Riddick movie. I wish it would come out already. I'm so excited for the new Riddick movie. Yeah, probably not today, Jolly Good. But probably tomorrow, I'd be willing to get to that. This has 3 films on it. This has Chronicles of Riddick, Pitch Black, and Riddick. I believe it also has the animated film, Dark Fury, which is by Peter Chung. I think it's Peter Chang or Peter Chung, who did Aeon Flux for MTV. Just such a unique American art style on that one. I love it. Ringu, another one that's not over there because I don't have room. I'm a huge J-horror fan. It's something that I haven't talked about much on the channel, but I've seen dozens and dozens and dozens of J-horror from the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. I love J-horror. Ringu is one of my favorite, one of the most dry, atmospheric, procedural, sort of ghost stories I've ever seen. It's phenomenal. I love the atmosphere. It is so good. I love all 3 of these films. Ring 2, I actually like Ring 0 more than Ringu 0 more than the first one, but I enjoy all these for different reasons. Hideo Tanaka, or Hideo Nakata, that's his name. Hideo Nakata did the first 2. And horror legend, oh man, what's his name? I'm blanking on my Japanese names. Come on, it's not going to have his name. Of course it's not going to have his name, because let's not put the name of the director on the box. That would be stupid. Wouldn't it? It's such a dumb idea. All right. Yeah, MTV had some cool animation in the 90s, that's for sure. Yes, I could tell Mandarin and Cantonese apart too because of cinema, right? There's more like sure in Mandarin than there is Cantonese. It's got sounds that are very foreign to an English speaking person. Mandarin does. Cantonese is a little bit easier for me to pronounce, but yeah, I could tell the difference between the two. And you could thank cinema for that. Hideo Nakata, you got it. Yep, Hideo Nakata did the first two Ringu films, I'm pretty sure, and then he also did The Ring 2 in America, which is weird. But he's a great director. He also did Dark Water, the Japanese one. RoboCop trilogy. I like all these films. They do get worse and worse, but I still am a fan of RoboCop 3. It's like a 3 out of 5. I think it's fine. Yeah, it's, a bit more of Japanese. That's interesting. Okay. The Rocky films, we've got 1 through 6 films. I love all of them. 5 being the weakest, but still fun, still good to watch. I like it. My favorite Rocky film is probably 4. I know I'm in the minority. I think the first 4 are fantastic. Rocky Balboa is great, and the Creed movies are just as good. I mean, they're so damn good. Yes, this is all box sets, which is a continuation of the first part here. Scorpion King 5-movie collection. There you go. Yes, there are 5 Scorpion King movies. These are B movies. These are pretty crappy. But if I'm in the mood for a good B movie, I've got all 5 Scorpion Kings. Oh yeah, Apollo Creed is awesome. Rocky 3 is my favorite. That's a great one. Do you have the RoboCop TV series? I have the TV movies, and I have the animated cartoon. I'm not sure if I have the series. I think I have a couple. I'm not sure what the difference between Prime Directives, which is a mini-series, like short or like feature films. Oh, really? You're not a huge fan of the Creed films? That's interesting. I think they are fantastic. I think the first and the third ones are just excellent stories. Right. Not based on a video game. Scorpion King. We've got Shaft, Shaft's Big Score, and Shaft in Africa. I love that title, Shaft in Africa. It has what's called assonance for my writers out there. Shaft in Africa. Kind of like, yeah, it's good stuff. Did you know there were Planet of the Apes TV movies, too, with insane titles? Yes, and there was also an animated show. Crazy. Here you go. I'll get you some titles there. We got this Shaw Brothers Classic set here. Volume 4. I'd love to own the others. A lot of them do cross over with the Arrow stuff. These are put out by Shout. The Sword, Stained with Royal Blood, haven't seen. 5 Element Ninjas, one of my favorite Shaw Brothers films. So colorful, so cool. Some of the best action. It's fantastic. Black Lizard, Legend of the Fox. Yeah. The Rebel Intruders, 2 Champions of Shaolin, Holy Flame of the Martial World, crazy over-the-top movie. I love that one. Opium and the Kung Fu Master, Shaolin Prince, Shaolin Intruders, House of Traps and Masked Avengers 2 that I have seen. Absolutely fantastic. I actually really like House of Traps. I know people aren't huge on it, but I think it's great. I'm a sucker for Shaw Brothers. I haven't seen any that I hate. Yeah. Well, I need a lot of things. Love Holy Sword. Hell yeah. Here's a nice little Shyamalan box set here with 3 of his greatest films. Yeah, Rambo's cartoon is one of the worst cartoons I've ever seen. The animation makes me want to vomit. It's horrible. It's hard to watch. It's an atrocity. It's bad. We've got Signs, a film that I really love. Very atmospheric, stupid ending. Yeah, it's stupid twist. It's the water. There's water everywhere. On us, in our atmosphere. We breathe it all the time. Doesn't make any sense. Unless I'm missing something. The Sixth Sense. I actually didn't see Trap, but I've been wanting to see Trap because it looks like a pretty... I'm a Shyamalan fan. I even liked Old. Old is ridiculous. It's so funny. He's a funny writer. And he's like the dad that's trying to be cool, but all of his jokes just are so cringy. It's great. Snake Eyes. Oh, I love Snake Eyes. Yeah, it's a cool film. Sixth Sense, one of my favorite movies of all time. I know people these days view it from a slightly different perspective, and they think it's pretentious and a little, the twist is easy to see coming, all that. I watched this when I was 11 years old when it came out, and with my family, and the twist absolutely floored me, still does. I love this movie. It's one of the best. So unique in terms of horror cinema. Very psychological, very symbolic cinematography. Great performances around, all around. And really, its twist is magnificent. Even if you see it coming, which none of us did back in the day, the twist just proves how well written this film is and how they edit around certain scenes, and it's just masterfully done in a Hitchcockian way. And my favorite Shyamalan film, I say as is saying, I feel like the target audience for Unbreakable. Unbreakable is one of the best films ever made. This is a deconstruction of superhero films years before they would become a cinematic universe. This holds up so well in the sort of as Marvel is dying era. Great performances all around, super melancholic. You just feel the rain coming off of the screen, the sadness, the pathos from Bruce Willis's character, who has a secret of his own, a secret that is just so profound. Great villain. I think Split is very good, and I think Glass is okay. I think it as a trilogy is pretty unique. But nothing comes close to Unbreakable. Yes, you're very astute. Very astute. Sister Street Fighter. I actually haven't seen any of the Sister Street Fighter films. These are Japanese action films from the 70s. Very cool. This has 4 films on it. What? Sister Street Fighter, Return of the Sister Street Fighter. Maybe 2 films? 2 or 3. I'm not sure. Next up, we have Spider-Man Trilogy. I love the first 2 films, especially the second. One of the greatest Marvel films of all time. One of the great action films of all time. Sesame Street Fighter. That's funny. We have Steven Spielberg collection here, which is upside down, and houses a kind of eclectic selection of his films here. Ace Ventura and, of course, yeah, Ace Ventura for sure. I understand, I do have problems with its ending. It's a little funny in today's age. But I also love the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle film, no question. I think it's fantastic and moody. And, yeah, what the hell? I love New York films. Duel, one of the great underrated Spielberg films. The Sugarland Express, one of the few films of his I haven't seen. We've got Jaws, classic. I don't love it as much as everybody else, but I think it's a classic masterpiece. 1941, E.T. I absolutely adore E.T. The older I get, the more I like it. Always, I haven't seen. Jurassic Park, obviously one of the greats. And Lost World, a pretty good movie. My second favorite, Jurassic Park. Is Casper a Spielberg movie? No, I think he produced that, if I'm not mistaken. They hired Hong Kong action choreographers for, what's that? Oh, yeah, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, right, because that was a Golden Harvest film, right? That was produced by Raymond Chow. So, yeah, man. Love that shit. Star Trek, I finally got the collection that houses all of them in it, which is nice. This has all 10 original movies up to the new trilogy. I love all of them for different reasons. Always reminded me of Harold Faltermeyer. His music from Beverly Hills Cop, which I'm pretty sure he was influenced by. Starship Troopers Trilogy. Do I need the trilogy? No, but I'm a completionist, and I must have all of them, even the shitty ones. 2 should have been better. It was directed by Phil Tippett, great special effects maestro who would go on to do Mad God. Starship Troopers is an absolute classic film, giant satire on war. And actually, I'm reading a couple novels right now. Well, too many novels right now, but also about halfway through Starship Troopers, the original novel, which is very jingoistic, patriotic, hard-headed at points, makes some really good points, makes some not-so-good points, but very good. And quite American. Whew. That's a book. We've guilt. My prediction is that your love for Hong Kong cinema was a combination of early exposure to Rumble in the Bronx, Ninja Turtles, as well as seeing The Matrix at a formative age. God almighty, you're psychoanalyzing me, and it's spot on. Yeah, no shit. 90% of people who grew up in the 90s and ended up Hong Kong fanatics have the same gateway drugs. That is interesting. Street Fighter collection here. This is the Sonny Chiba Classics. We've got Street Fighter, Return of Street Fighter, and the Street Fighter's Last Revenge. I've only seen the first film. It is hard-hitting, brutal, great action, you know, very influential in the for anime. This has these shots of Sonny Chiba hitting dudes on the head and like a kind of like a special effects shot of their skull cracking and driving into their like heart, and like it's insane. Yeah, yes, decades, cultures cross over into other decades. I always try to tell people this, like, good luck defining the culture of 1990. It's a little bit of late 80s, it's a little bit of early 90s, and film allows us to almost see that in a very unique way, artistic way, but yeah. 78 to 2006, this has Superman 1 through 4, as well as Superman Returns, Bryan Singer film there. I've only seen the first two, and Returns, I think all are very solid Superman films. Here we have Tarantino. Obviously, this has all the classics. Jesus fucking, all right. Late 90s have more in common with, yes. Tarantino, this has it all, guys. Pulp Fiction, Reservoir Dogs, Jackie Brown, Kill Bill, all the way up to Inglourious Bastards, I believe. It's fantastic. It's a great set. This even has True Romance, which is, you know, harder to find these days. So, and he didn't direct that one. He wrote it. Yeah, I knew what you meant there, Speaking of titles, there you go. I love this box set. Look at this thing. Look at this thing. It's a pizza box. It even has Pizza Time. Sorry, that's from Turtles in Time, the game. It even has a grease spot on the bottom. Grease. We've got the movies. We've got 1, 2, 3, and then we have TMNT, the animated one. Even comes with a beanie and a little comic. Look at that. Isn't that awesome? Hell yeah, people are jealous of this set. I don't even want to know what this shit's going for these days. Maybe it was reprinted. I don't know. We've got, let me check up on the comments. Also, did you know that the reason why films got the teal-orange look in the 2000s? No, I don't. That's a weird observation, but I know what you mean. Transformers, movies that I hate. I still want to give this franchise a chance. I just can't do it. I don't even like the first movie. I think the first movie is a mess. I'm a fan of the old Transformers, G1. I even like Beast Wars, but I also love the animated film, which is a far better film than any of these. Even if it was made to sell more toys. They all are, but I don't know what it is about the Michael. I love all of Michael Bay's films. All of them, except for the Transformers. Oh, I see. Okay, well, that makes sense. That's interesting. All right, next up, we have... Oh, my God. I almost lost the Shaw Brothers set there, but I caught it at the last moment. Next up, we have one of my favorite, if not my favorite, Japanese filmmaker. That makes sense. Shinya Tsukamoto. One of the great Japanese filmmakers of all time. I've seen most of these films, but I haven't seen Kotoko and Killing. Kotoko, I hear, is one of his best, if not his best, psychological horror thriller. Tokyo Fist is insane. I love Tokyo Fist. That's one of my favorites of his. Bullet Ballet, absolutely fantastic. It follows this guy that's just trying to find a weapon, and in Japan, you know, it's nearly impossible to find a gun. But the whole story revolves around that in a really interesting way. Tokyo Fist is a crazy action. It's insane. A Snake of June, I think, is a pretty good film. A lot of people love that one. It's not my favorite. I gotta see Kotoko. I know. I do. And I will. I'm savoring it. I've talked about how I savor films. Vital is one I haven't seen as well. And then Tetsuo and Tetsuo 2. Obviously, Tetsuo 1 and 2, two of my favorite flicks of all time. I absolutely love. Love, 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 love Tetsuo. It's one of the most influential films for me. I just think it's full of passion and creativity and intensity. This also has a couple shorter films, one called The Adventure of Denshu Kozo, which was the progenitor, the short film that came before Tetsuo. Very low budget, but has some of the same ideas. It's awesome. Very early cyberpunk from Japan. And Haze, which I absolutely love, a nightmare-like little short film, 45-minute film about this guy who finds himself navigating these impossibly tight mazes, this labyrinthine concrete hellscape, and he finds body parts, and he's just trying to escape, and things get tighter and tighter. Ah, it's such a cool film. Very metaphoric, but very, very fucking good. Here's an excerpt from Kotoko review. A nail to the eye. Through claustrophobic close-ups, disorienting cuts, abrasive sound design, and a powerhouse performance at the fore, we go through hell about 19 times, and I cherished every minute of it. That's a great review. Very well written. Another really cool little set here, guys, that I don't think many people talk about or know about. Ultimate Gangsters Collection. This has some of the classics. The look here, see, the Edward G. Robinson. Wow, look at that lighting. Severe. The Edward G. Robinson, James Cagney. Little Caesar I've seen. Great little flick. Public Enemy is excellent, even better. White Heat, probably one of the better Cagney flicks. It's fantastic. Came out a little later than the 30s ones there. And one of those sets I would try to save if my house was burning down. This is the Blu-ray collection, 30-film collection of pretty much all of the Universal Monster films that are worth a damn. There's a few that it misses, like the Jungle Girl movies and things like that. The Stranger, and there's some overlap here, which I always thought was weird. But this has it all. All of the Frankenstein films, the Phantom of the Opera, the Mummy films, the Creature films, of which there were, 3? Dracula, the Wolfman, the Invisible Man. My favorite on the set is Son of Frankenstein, still one of my favorite films of all time. But whenever I'm feeling down, these films pull me up. They feel like they were made in a different world because they technically were. These films are so old. We're using technologies and techniques that are pretty much, that a lot of which are not used today. Black and white film, cinematography. It's just beautiful stuff. What is your favorite movie about moving on from loss, dealing with grief? Oh, yeah, another heavy question. I'd have to think about it. All right, guys, we're going to do one last row here, and then we're going to call it for today. Forgive me, but I am getting a little winded here. Gilman is the best out of the classic monsters. Yeah, in terms of looks, I might not disagree with you. In terms of the movies, I think there are better Universal movies, but yeah, I think Creature is a very solid film. And fun fact, I believe the Creature design was by a female, and there's a story that the design was stolen from her and all this stuff, so interesting story. There was a book written about it recently. Not sure how much of it is true, but these days you never know. Conspiracy Theory by Mel Gibson. Speaking of, that's a weird one to pick up while saying that. Mel Gibson, Julia Roberts. It's a pretty okay conspiracy thriller starring Gibson, who does great as always, and directed by Richard Donner. So I remember seeing this back in the day. It's kind of like X-Files without the fantastical, so not as interesting. Yep, there you go. Confirms my my little diatribe there. The Courier, pretty solid political thriller, not bad. This is an American IRA movie that I definitely want to see. I hear Brad Pitt has a terrible accent in this, but it's Harrison Ford, Brad Pitt, Alan J. Pakula, who did Pelican Brief, who I like as a director. He's known for the 70s Parallax View, a lot of conspiracy political thrillers. So I definitely want to check out this little IRA flick. I always said, it would have been interesting if Scott Bakula played Dracula in a movie by Alan J. Pakula. Wouldn't that be pretty sweet? Copland, I love this movie. I don't know, I go back to this movie time and time again. Great cast. It's got that New York, New Jersey vibe, you know, that I am nostalgic for. Stallone plays a character, a very seemingly weak character in the beginning who gets stronger over time. He's totally outnumbered by corrupt policemen, but it's a great flick. Very much so like a Western. It's a female-directed Gilman movie in the 80s, also called Humanoids from the Deep. That's right. Corman flick, right? I heard he had major problems with her. What was her name? Ramona something. But I would imagine that, you know, Corman wasn't the most lovely person to work with. I'm sure it's a similar situation to Hitchcock, without going into details. Not to besmirch his name, but hey, all of our heroes have skeletons. The Counselor, a pretty solid Ridley Scott thriller here. I know a lot of people hated this movie, but I thought it was pretty cool. I have some problems with the character work and the writing, but the unrated, the director's cut, unrated director's cut, I thought was pretty good. Good cast, nice, simple thriller, you know, crime thriller, where a bunch of idiots get in way over their head. I like those kinds of films. Cruel Intentions, haven't seen that since back in the day when I shouldn't have been watching it. And I was watching it for all different sorts of reasons than I would today. Well, not all different, but Cruella, I hear really good things about this Disney film, believe it or not. This is like a crime film. Dean, have a good night. Thank you so much for checking in with me before bed. I appreciate that. Feel free to catch up on the rest of it in the archived version. Thanks for the support, guys. Got to make a video on Roger Corman sometime. Yeah, he was absolutely a legend. Cruisin', the gayest Al Pacino film I have ever seen, and that's a compliment. This is a really cool, sleazy kind of film from the 70s that sort of, or early 80s, 1980, I think, that sort of explores the seedy side of like gay nightclubs and sex clubs and things like that. It's so cool. Yeah, it's just a really cool flick. Great performance by Pacino. It takes some twists and turns that are pretty unique. Cutter's Way I haven't seen, but I have the Twilight time here. Dark Blue, really good 70s style police thriller here. Maniac, oh yeah, of course. I love this movie. I think this movie's very good. David Ayer wrote this one. Kurt Russell plays a really dirty cop and who gets in way over his head. And this film makes you hate this character and his corruption, but also makes you empathize with his humanity by the end of the film. And I think great films do that. Pride and Glory does that very well. Great crime films do that. It's kind of like our answer to the heroic bloodshed kind of thing. DC Noir, this is an interesting one. I don't know much about it. I think it's like a crime film that's an anthology film too. Dead Man Down, I hear pretty good things about this one. Death Wish, the Eli Roth remake with Bruce the Willis. I think this is one of the last decent Bruce Willis movies, so I do need to peep that. Detroit, or Detroit, I like to say. Detroit is a Catherine Bigelow film that takes place during the Civil Rights Movement. Covers some of the more riotous moments from that. Haven't seen it. Disorganized Crime, this is a film my dad and I loved back in the day. It's not a great film, but it's a fun little comedic crime caper with a bunch of hooligans. Again, that kind of comedy of errors kind of thing. Very cool. I'm glad to have it on Blu-ray. Reminds me of my pops. Some of the better memories. Disturbia. This is DJ Caruso film. DJ Caruso's from not too far from my neck of the woods in Connecticut. Interesting. Yeah, I have to watch those again. I'm not a huge fan. Dolan's Cadillac. This is actually a Stephen King short story. I've never seen this. This is one of the first Blu-rays I got because it was super cheap, like 20 years ago. Don Hemingway. Haven't seen it. Double Indemnity. I haven't seen this film. It's a nice little limited edition I got from Big Lots for like dirt cheap ones. Down Terrace is a Ben Wheatley film. One of the Ben Wheatley films I haven't seen. Actually, I hear it's very good. Dragged Across Concrete. This is Craig S. Zoller. Very gritty. More conservative kind of police film here that has some character turns that I think will floor you if you're going into this thinking it's a certain thing. And I think Zoller did that for a good purpose. I haven't gotten into noir as much as I would like to admit. As much as I would like to, but I do think I'll get into it at some point in my life. Neo-noir guy myself. Yeah, I'm more of a neo-noir guy, I guess. Speaking of neo-noir, there you go. Ryan Gosling. I think this film's very moody, brooding, seething kind of atmosphere. Great characters. Almost feels like a Tarantino film. Not as over the top. Nicholas Winding Refn, good filmmaker. Really good movie. Has some very memorable, brutal violence. The Drop, I like this movie. One of Gandolfini's last. Tom Hardy plays an unassuming bartender who kind of gets swept up into the mob activities and all that. And very good film. Oh, I love The Driver. No. The Driver with Tatum O'Neal. Or Ryan O'Neal. And Dern. I love that movie. Both are classics. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. Cruella. There's also a 101 Dalmatians remake from 96. That's right. And 102 Dalmatians. Yes. I once owned those in the collection, but realized I didn't need them and they were out of print, so I sold them. Duplicity. Duplicity is a flick I haven't seen, but I do like Tony Gilroy's writing and his movies. Tony Gilroy, I think, wrote the very, very intriguing political thriller. Yeah, he also directed Michael Clayton. Very good. The Duelist. This is not the Ridley Scott film. This is a Russian film. Period piece here. It's supposed to be an action film, like a period piece action film. Strong violence and some sexuality and nudity. Yes, please. Oh, I'm a Walter Hill diehard too. You and I definitely align on that. The Warriors, 48 Hours, one of the coolest fucking movies. Nick Nolte's character is so fucking cool. He has a 30-second scene where he just lights a cigarette. I have about 9 or 10 scenes from films that follow characters just lighting cigarettes. I think cigarettes on film are so cool. Obviously, I don't think that in real life. But Dying of the Light, this is a Paul Schrader film that I hear was butchered upon release. But it's Paul Schrader, writer of Taxi Driver, director of Affliction, and many great movies. Extreme Prejudice has my beloved Powers Booth, and so does Southern Comfort. I like Southern Comfort more. The first time I watched Extreme Prejudice, I couldn't really get down with it. I don't know what it was. I need to rewatch it. Stands as one of my least favorite Hill films. Have you seen The Assignment? I haven't seen that one yet. Electric Glide in Blue, such a cool name. Great cover art there. Follows I hear it's about Robert Blake on sort of a power trip as a cop. So there you go. It's a bit slow, yeah. End of Watch. This is another great, one of the only other great David Ayer directed films, in my opinion. This is just so cool. This is a found footage police drama, action drama. And it's a fantastic film. Great performances by Michael Pena and Gyllenhaal, who play partners. And this film follows two basically idiotic cops who are power hungry and get in way over their heads, bite off more than they can chew, and they get what's coming to them. Just in found footage style, it's really, really good. Enemy of the State. Boy, you want to see a film that forecasts a lot of what we're going through now? This is the beginning of the surveillance state, and now we're knee-deep in it. So much so that nobody even knows we're in it. This film gave us all the warnings back in 98. If we paid attention, maybe we would have been able to avert it, but that's not how we do as humans. We don't like to take lessons from things as a whole. Evil Under the Sun. Fair Game. This is another Doug Liman film, a spy thriller that I want to watch. Fargo, one of my favorite films of all time. Probably my favorite Coen Brothers film. I know it's a bit of a cop-out, but I do think this is a masterpiece, a homespun little homicide thriller here that takes place in a very unique setting with very unique characters who have very unique accents and ways of life. And it's just a crime film of the likes that we don't see very often, a very down-to-earth crime film. Fat Man, I wasn't blown away by this. I thought it was okay. I saw it for Mel Gibson playing like a realistic Santa Claus kind of thing. It's not that good. I don't know if it should be in the collection. I'm on the fence on that one. Fear City, I haven't seen. This is Abel Ferrara film, I'm pretty sure. Yep. Felony, not seen this one. Fight Club, I love Fight Club. Still think it holds up remarkably well. Has a lot to say about society then. And unbeknownst to David Fincher, a lot to say about society now. Filth. This is, Danny Boyle? No, Jonas Baird. I haven't seen Filth. Trance is what I'm thinking of. Harrison Ford, Paul Bettany, Firewall. An okay little action thriller with Harrison Ford. Late stage Harrison Ford action thriller. We've got Four Brothers, John Singleton. I'm a huge John Singleton fan. For the most part, I think he's one of the great black filmmakers of the 90s and the 2000s. And Four Brothers is no exception. This is a really good film about family, brotherhood. It's two white brothers and two black brothers who were raised together. And that relates to me. I'm a sucker for the can't we all just get along movies. 1984 style doublespeak like enchanted interrogations instead of torture, Patriot Act to spy on your citizens. You got it. If you read Orwell, Orwell's basically the prescient tome that knew exactly where we were going. Orwell was a genius. And I always say great artists are able to tap into the cultural ether. And people are like, how did they predict that? Well, I just think great artists are able to tap into patterns and pick up on patterns, even subconsciously or unconsciously sometimes. And I think Orwell, based on his experience in the Spanish Civil War, his experience with socialism and the socialistic experiment that he witnessed while the time he was writing, and his critiques on capital, it's all perfect. Endless war, military-industrial complex. He called things as minute as North Korea, there's a law where you have to always play the propaganda from the radio. Well, same thing in 1984. It goes on and on and on. Having little kids be informants for the state. This is something that all dictatorships did throughout the 20th century. Still do. It's brilliant. Oh, interesting. Yeah, YouTube doing some cleanup work even on my non-political videos. Free Fire. An okay Ben Wheatley film. This was the film that kind of made him break out in the West here, or I should say in America, because he's an English filmmaker. This is an interesting film. I want to give another shot. Its claim to fame was having Martin Scorsese as an executive producer. French Connection 1 and 2. I still haven't seen Frankenheimer's second film, but I have seen the first one directed by, I should know this off the top of my head, William Friedkin. That's right. Yeah, he shot a gritty crime thriller. One of the great chase sequences. Hackman's Popeye is such a corrupt character you can't help but love to hate. I've seen Kill List, and boy, oh boy, is that movie a gut punch. Holy mackerel. A film I haven't seen, The Grifters. I just picked this up. I thought I had this in the collection, but I didn't, apparently. This film really surprised me. Maybe it shouldn't have because it's David Fincher and he knows how to make a compelling film in any genre. But Gone Girl was a mystery thriller based on a book by Gillian Flynn. Oh, no! Oh, I caught it. Look at that. Really good film that kind of has a killer twist that makes the whole story take on a different light and shows you all people could be bad. What a surprise. Sometimes we need to be reminded of that. Nicolas Cage, John Cusack. Frozen Ground is one I definitely want to rewatch. I've heard pretty good things, solid things about it. Galveston. Picked this up because it was cheap and it's on 4K. Lost my balance sometimes too. Try not to break it. I get it. Gang Related, we all do. Gang Related, which is a good dirty cop crime thriller with Tupac and John Belushi. The Game. Oh, I love The Game. It's definitely up there for me. I think it's perfect. Such a moody film. Such a cool atmosphere in that movie, like a nighttime kind of on the streets atmosphere about a guy just getting lost in this labyrinth of confusion. It's fantastic. It still baffles me, when I watch the film. And is it all a game? Is it not? Is it all in his head? What's going on here? It's always keeps you guessing. Gangs of New York, Scorsese, and one of his more mainstream films, but a film that I do love. I think there's never a dull moment here. Great, colorful, and vibrant cast of characters. Culture that just hops off the screen and paints a picture of America at a very different time. And or maybe not so different time. We have a lot in common with this time. But Daniel Day-Lewis, if you want to see one of the great villain performances of this era, it is definitely in Daniel Day-Lewis's The Butcher. He's fantastic. The Gift, an okay little thriller written by Joel Egerton that takes on bullying in a really, I don't know, it's okay. The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, this is the original Swedish film, which I think is superior to David Fincher's film. I think David Fincher's film's fine. It's okay. He's a good filmmaker. I just think it loses a lot of its Scandinavian culture. It's my problem with remakes from other countries is like the culture that it's produced in means something, you know. But I do think Fincher knew that and he had something American to add to it. Did you first become cognizant of politics? Probably 2014, 2015, started paying attention. I was subsumed by like a very radical, very radical Marxist group who tried to control my thinking. We'll just leave it there. And I was lucky to break free from that. And I realized there were bad people on both sides at that moment because I was raised a Connecticut liberal. Still consider myself a classical liberal, but hey, anyway. Go! I love this movie. I put it in a pretty cool little yellow case here. My friend's going to see the live action Lilo and Stitch today. Yeah, I hear it's okay. Go is one of the most underrated films of the 90s. This is like Pulp Fiction for the rave era, of which I was too young at the time, but I have fond memories of the films coming out, the culture of this time. To not elaborate. Which one? That's such a wild sentence to not elaborate on. Which one? God Bless America. You want to see a film that pisses everyone off and is super controversial and revels in its depiction of violence and how violence can change things, but also criticizes that same thing? Where were we? Yes, go see Go. Go watch Go. It's such a great film. Interweaves all these characters' different plots and everything, and it's not an action-oriented film. There's an action scene in it, but it's just a really tense late 90s thriller, you know. Had to talk to my brother real quick. We've got Good Liar, haven't seen, Ground Star Conspiracy, more 70s conspiracy crime thrillers. The Gunman. Never seen it. Hangman. Never seen it. Torque, I haven't seen. I hear it's super fun, though, in a B-movie kind of way. Hard 8, I love that I have this on Blu-ray finally. The DVD is out of print. Never got a release in America, not that I know of. Philip Baker Hall in an excellent performance as an aging hitman. John C. Reilly as a compulsive gambler, and Gwyneth Paltrow as the girl that he's trying to get, if I remember this all correct. This is the first Paul Thomas Anderson film, PTA, and I'm a huge PTA fan. I think he's one of our great filmmakers. Unlike anything you've seen. Interesting. I got to check that out. Harry Brown. You want to see a good old man revenge film? And not Logan. Logan's amazing, but Harry Brown is even older than Logan. Well, I guess not technically. Anyway, Michael Caine plays a pissed off griever. I forget exactly what. His neighborhood's getting run down and bad. Residents live in fear of drug dealers, and the police offer little protection, so he takes up arms and cleans up the streets himself. Very tense, very good performance. I didn't see the tweet from Michael Caine. I've never used Twitter. Harsh Times. This is a David Ayer film that I think is laughably bad, with a performance by Christian Bale, who plays like a Latino gangbanger. Yeah, it's not very good. Henry's Crime. I own this because Keanu Reeves. I don't hear very good things about it. We've got Hobo with a Shotgun. People love this exploitation, post-exploitation, neo-exploitation film. I think it's okay. I do want to watch it again, though. Hoffa. This is a crime film directed by Danny DeVito and starring Jack Nicholson and Danny DeVito that I haven't seen. Or have I? I don't think I have. It's been a very long time if I have. Why do we fall? So we can learn to pick ourselves back up. There you go. There you go. It's simple and true. Hours. I hear really good things about this Paul Walker little disaster kind of flick. House of Gucci, another crime film by Ridley Scott that he put out that nobody really talks about. The Begin. That is kind of weird. Danny DeVito became the red M&M. That's what people... Yeah, I see it. I got you. I get it. House of Gucci. Still want to see it. It's Ridley Scott. The Imitation Game, I hear great things about this little procedural war drama thriller about Alan Turing and the invention of the computer and the code breakers and all that kind of stuff during World War II. You guys want to see a really good little gangster flick here in a setting that you don't usually see down in the bayou in New Orleans. John Goodman plays a great New Orleans kingpin, and I believe Tommy Lee Jones is a veteran detective who's just trying to solve the crimes and get to the bottom of things. It's a very, very good crime film. I like unique crime films, ornate, interesting ones, mob films. In the Line of Fire, a lot of people love this movie. I think it's a solid action political thriller with Clint Eastwood. I do want to rewatch it, though. In Order of Disappearance, this is the original film with Stellan Skarsgård, where Liam Neeson would go on to do Cold Pursuit, which was the American remake. Great actor, John Goodman, absolutely. Painful, like in terms of emotional. Or just like bad. In the Valley of Ella, this is another crime film that I want to see with Tommy Lee Jones. Infiltrator, haven't seen. The Informer, this was a pretty solid film. Was this the Rick... maybe I didn't... Oh, yes, I did see this one. I thought this was a pretty good crime film with Joel Kinnaman. Here's a cool flick that I like quite a bit. Miserable. So Invoking Misery. Grave of Fireflies is up there. Yeah, Grave of Fireflies makes me want to cry right now. The International, which is a really solid little political thriller directed by Tim Twyker, the German director, who was known for Run, Lola, Run. But I like to see Clive Owen in this little action, little bit of an action role here with Naomi Watts, two actors I really enjoy. This has a killer action set piece in that spiral white building with all the stairs, and it's a really good action set piece. It is a good one. Into the Ashes, I've never seen. That looks like a Dollar Tree one. Jack Reacher films are okay. They could have been better. Josie, I don't know much about that one. California, Brad Pitt, Juliette Lewis, California. This is a pretty solid little dusty crime film, neo-noir kind of crime film. Takes place out west and follows some decent characters. I think it's an okay little flick. I like to have it on Blue. Kicks. I've heard good things about Kicks, and I'm not talking about the cereal. Kicks is supposed to be this sort of adventure, odyssey, kind of mythological epic about these kids that are just trying to find their shoes in inner city. And that sounds actually pretty cool. Yeah, we're still in crime. We're not going to finish crime today. Just going to get to the end of this. Oh, yeah, Judgment Night. Oh, I love this film. Teetering on the action genre. This is a Stephen Hopkins movie. Pretty sure Australian director who was very underrated, made some really fun flicks. My battery's getting to the point of being dead too. He did Predator 2. Excellent stuff. I love Judgment Night. Very, very atmospheric. Takes place over one night in some, undisclosed inner city. Maybe they do mention what inner city. But these guys team up, they're friends, they get together, they make a bad decision, and then they're hunted by Dennis Leary and the bad guys. Do you know his name? Cuba Gooding Jr., Emilio Estevez. It's Stephen Dorff, right? Stephen Dorff? Or Emilio? After the crime is going to be, we've got Gangster, we've got Heist, and then we have Prison, and then that's all the crime. I have a lot of crime films. And then we do Disney animated and Pixar and anime and all that. I'm blanking. Jeremy, yeah. I don't want to spoil things, but yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah, he was a really good character. Killer Elite, I still haven't seen. Jeremy Piven. Killer Elite, I haven't seen. I know this got remade with Jason Statham and Robert De Niro, which I'd like to see both. This is a Peckinpah film, isn't it? Yeah. Peckinpah. Killer Joe, really good William Friedkin. It's like kind of psychological thriller almost. Kind of lower budget, fixed in one area, kind of crime thriller about, again, I love these types of comedies of crimes of error where these idiotic characters just keep making bad decisions and get themselves all tied up in real bad situations. Haven't seen him in much else, but very charismatic. Yeah, I remember him in Entourage when I was growing up. I liked that show. Not anymore. I can't really get into it these days. Killer's Kiss by Kubrick, an early Kubrick film there. Oh, dude. Killing Them Softly, this is very 70s in style, has that gritty, grainy kind of style. It feels like it's shot on film, feels like, the corruption just oozes from these characters, the sleaziness just oozes from these characters. Everybody's a bad guy in this one. There aren't no good guys. Andrew Dominic, who I think did... John Hillcoat. Okay, I get a couple of those mixed up. Films like Judgment Night. I hear the film Survive the Night, the TV movie, which is very out of print. I actually recently sold my copy because I'm not a huge fan of it. But yeah, check that one out. I can't think of any off the top. But I love Killing Them Softly for that 70s style crime vibe. A Kind of Murder. I actually don't know what that is. Maybe Dollar Tree? Kinjite, Forbidden Subjects. This is like Charles Bronson in Japan kind of movie. The Kiss Before the Mirror. This is a crime film from the 40s or 30s. Directed by James Whale. That's why I have it. James Whale obviously would direct the first two Frankenstein films. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, one of the better Shane Black directed films here. Very, very solid little crime comedy. Kind of a buddy cop kind of thing. Very witty dialogue, great dialogue, obviously great writing. That's what Shane Black is known for. This is a really good film with a killer cigarette lighting scene that involves Robert Downey Jr. One day I'm going to do that cigarette lighting video, maybe soon. I have enough to do a video now. I've been saving them up for 10 years, writing them in my notepad, or 5 years. LA Confidential, a film that was huge in the 90s that not many people talk about now. A film that I do need to rewatch. It's been very, very long time. La Femme Nikita. I always say that. I don't know why. It's like Feliz Navidad, even though it's French. Anyway. This is Luc Besson getting the wheels turning with the type of films that he would make, centering on female protagonists. Yeah, I get he's a bit of a creep in real life. I understand that. But I separate the art from the artist. And I think he does have something to say about females that is not all bad. If you pay attention to some of the subtext of his films. Is he a little creepy? Yeah. Are the laws different over there? Yeah. It is what it is. Besson, I love Besson. Feliz Navidad, there you go. Feliz Navidad. Race with the Devil, oh yeah, that's a great one. Oh, it's a misery-laden film with a really dark ending. Yeah, it's a very good satanic. I love those satanic movies from the 70s. They're really disturbing. Devil's Reign. It's another one that really gets under my skin. Always has. Ernest Borgnine in that. My God. Scared the shit out of me as a kid. Lady Ice, a Donald Sutherland Bond-like film, it seems. I've not seen. The Lawyer. I don't know what this is. Barry Newman. I picked this up for like $5 at a bookshop. Sidney J. Furie. I like the director. So here we have a Spike Lee double feature. This one I think is pretty hard to find now. Miracle at St. Anna is pretty cool, but the cooler one on here is SOS, which is about Bernard Getz, right? The serial killer. I want to say Summer of Sam. No, it wasn't Bernard Getz. It was Sam. The Summer of Sam, 1977, where a guy was going around killing people on trains. Isn't that right? Yeah, I might be getting my serial killers mixed up. Sorry. Lincoln Lawyer, still haven't seen that. I like McConaughey. This one's weird. Little Chenier, Occasion Story. I just think it's interesting that this is a movie from Occasion, New Orleans kind of perspective. A rarely visited world. Yeah, actually, that sums up why I'm interested in it. So, there you go. I like movies that exude culture and give me new perspectives on things. Rosemary's Baby will always remain the GOAT for me, but love The Ninth Gate. I prefer The Ninth Gate. Isn't that funny? I think Rosemary's Baby was highly influential and ahead of its time, but comes across as a bit trite these days, despite it being a very, very good film. With some incredible sequences and very frustrating film to watch. It's kind of like one of those, right? Horror films where you're rooting for the main character, but you also know that it's probably hopeless. This one I haven't seen. I've heard pretty bad things about this. It's got a good cast. I'm not sure what quite happened here. Maybe the writing. Another serial killer film there. All right, guys, we're gonna pick up here. We got even less done than last time. We're gonna pick up here next time, and I promise we'll get down to the animated stuff soon. And yeah, Ninth Gate has this very dry atmosphere to it that stale, stagnant. It's like the world is dead around Johnny Depp, but he's the only one that's actually truly alive, trying to get to the bottom of this, where everything else is just kind of drab and dead. I love the atmosphere that Polanski paints in that one, and it's probably my favorite Polanski film. And I'm a sucker for movies about books and Necronomicons and like books of the dead, and I'm a sucker for that kind of thing. So, anyways, guys, I want to thank you all so much. So much for checking out this live stream. We had more people, concurrent viewers today than we ever have. That's a pretty big deal to me. I think that's awesome. So I hope I kept you guys entertained. Last call to action here. Feel free to give this live stream a thumbs up. Feel free to donate to the channel. Subscribe to the channel. Share this live stream. Whatever you could do to help. All those little things actually really do help. So if you are subscribed, hit the little bell for notifications too. That'll help me with the algorithm. Let's see. There's a film with a guy that butchered his face. Angel Heart. Yeah, Angel Heart's great. I love that kind of voodoo aspect to it. Lisa Bonet is great. De Niro's great in that. Mickey Rourke, right? Isn't Mickey Rourke in it? Do I have Angel Heart on? Yeah. I thought I had Angel Heart on Blu-ray, but I guess I don't. All right, guys. Anyway, I will see you all very soon. I'm going to try to do another one of these tomorrow. If not, Friday for sure. And yeah, I'm going to hit you up because you've got some interesting sounding stuff that I wouldn't mind getting my hands on. So thank you for the offers. You're too kind. Yeah, Mickey Rourke messed up a whole lot of things. I've seen some pictures of Mickey Rourke that are like devastating. But hey, he was in The Wrestler, one of the greatest films of all time. He was a great actor in the 80s and 90s. The Wrestler is one of my favorite movies of all time. It's a perfect film. Anyway, I will see you all next time, guys. Until next time, Bored Cyborg is out. Have a good night, everybody.